Hello and happy New Year's Eve. It is the 30th, the day before the end of the year. And welcome and thank you for joining me for the last party chat of 2023. Got an awesome panel here today. Right now, we are waiting on Mark, but my usual co-host of Ryan is here. Hello, thanks for joining me again, as always.
Yes, I am Ryan. I am the dirty bucket. No, I won't say.
There is so much lore going on in your channel that I am so far behind on, but
Yeah, it's
welcome.
ever evolving. I'm surprised. I'm surprised the most recent one. It was briefly a thing. The dirty box kicker didn't, or box puncher.
I missed that one entirely.
Yeah. That's what I told Anna that I would punch her in the box. And so the next stream she brought a box, an actual box to the. She's like, "There's a box." I'm like,
God dang it.
It's pretty funny.
And we have a good buddy, another good buddy of mine joining us as our guest host for today, DJ Axis. Thank you for joining me today for the final episode of 2023.
What's going on, dudes?
Hello.
What's up, man? It's good to have you back on. Also, this fine gentleman here, he did help do the musical intro for Star Trek Engage. That's right.
I didn't know that.
He did. Him and Paul. Yeah, no, they killed it with Yeah, no, we have an awesome intro because of you guys. So
yeah. DJ and Paul are musical. What's the word I'm looking for?
Wizards, masters.
No, when you're like a kid, but you're like really, really like autistically good at it.
Like a prodigy or something.
Yeah, like a prodigy. That's not the word I'm looking for though.
Savant.
Savant.
Yes.
Yeah,
that one. That's what I was looking for. Yes.
I might be an idiot savant. I don't know about an actual savant.
But yeah, if you
I mean what they do is incredible. So no, it's awesome. I love our intro, but it's so much fun.
DJ and Paul are great music guys. If you like music and specifically video game music, they got you covered. Go check them out. And as we're talking about that, our other awesome co-host Mark hops in. Mark, hello. Good afternoon.
Yeah, how's it going, everybody?
I'm glad you could join us.
I was just reinstalling fire extinguishers not fire extinguishers, smoke detectors with X-Ray Girl. So it would have not been great for the show if we didn't finish that first.
Yeah.
There was a lot of beeping.
So, well, hello and welcome to episode 13 of Party Chat. So we'll get right on into it, and we will start off with now playing. What, DJ, you are the esteemed guest. We were talking about a little bit backstage right before we started, but is there anything else you've been playing lately besides Secret of Mana, which you were streaming last night?
Yeah, so in addition to all the retro games I play on my channel, I have been playing a little bit of Gunfire Reborn, mainly with my producer and friend Jazzy Panda. But I also played it with Melee James a couple of days ago. They had a Melee Games community event where we played Gunfire Reborn 4-player, and that's a lot of fun. You know, if you're a fan of like roguelike sort of looter shooters like Borderlands, that's the game's got you covered. And also just
Especially
recently,
furry.
Yeah. I didn't want to mention the furry side of it too, but yeah, there's that too. So, but also I finally.
Furry content is the kind of thing that you don't have to get too wrapped up in, though. It's just like, because at that point you can't play a Sonic the Hedgehog game, right?
Yeah, that's true. So it's like you just kind of have to accept it, like it's just.
I don't know. Is there a guy in a furry costume? Is that what we're talking about?
No.
Anthropomorphic animals.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, then no, I wouldn't consider that really furry. I'd say a guy in a furry costume, yes.
Yeah,
I've been on the internet a very long time. That's all I'm saying. And I can say for sure that the furries don't necessarily go for dudes in furry costumes specifically. That's just
no, they don't.
Life they can get to their drawings, and they're just anthropomorphized animals that they find attractive. And I mean, hey, I grew up watching Rangers, so to an extent, I get it.
don't talk about the
Like, I mean, Gadget was a pretty attractive little mouse, you know. Like, and when you're a young boy, it's like, oh, why do I find her so fascinating? There's an element to that.
Yeah, it's kind of like Lola Bunny too, right?
I was just gonna say
exactly.
it's Lola
Yeah.
Bunny.
Oh, yeah, I think Lola Bunny, though, I was in like 8th grade when that came out, so I think I was old enough to not just be like, oh man, that's what the female form looks like. How about that? Now,
I don't remember how old I was. When did it come out again? 96?
96 was the original Space Jam.
Then I would have been like 10. So yeah.
it was 96, so I guess I was in grade 7. I guess I remember it being towards the end of elementary school. So grade 7, 8, grade 6, 7, which is when it would have been, because generally I end the year in the year that it was, because I was 84, so I started grade 1 in 1990, ended grade 1 in 1991, ended grade 2 in 92, 3 in 93, so made it pretty easy for me to track those date wise. But what I'm saying though is the real loophole though is Jessica Rabbit. Because
Yes.
I mean, married to a rabbit, so you could argue she's a furry, but I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, if you don't find Jessica Rabbit to be an attractive animated character, then you're not attracted to women.
Basically,
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Yeah. Let's just say yeah.
That's a great
We all
movie,
know where
by the
this is
way.
going.
Anyways,
As a young kid.
But yeah,
what
like-
else were you playing?
Okay, so in addition to that, now that we're off that
Got
tangent,
nice boobs,
I-
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
thanks to my wonderful producer Jazzy Panda. Also,
Jazzy
what's
Panda,
up,
who's in
Jazzy?
chat.
He gifted me a game that I've been wanting to play for so long since it came out. I think about a year ago. I'm finally playing the Resident Evil 4 remake, and I absolutely love it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's so great.
Mark said a lot of good stuff about it.
I actually just got sent a video from someone that they told me to watch, because apparently it's arguments as to why it's everything that is not good about the modern remaster.
That's probably the one by Crobecat, isn't it?
Maybe, I don't know. I just got sent it by someone. They're like, yeah, I'd like you to watch this at some point and give your take on it. And I haven't watched it yet, so I don't know what his points are. But I think that describing the term masterpiece to it might be tricky, just because it's like, well, for the time it was released, is it really pushing the boundaries for anything in any major way? And I think the answer to that for RE4 remake is no. It's just a very well executed remake of an older game that does a good job of adding a modern control scheme, so like removing tank controls and allowing people to move freely, while also not having that unbalance the game like crazy. But it also makes some decisions that I think make it less good than the original. So it's like, well, it's easier to get into and easier to play for just a person that's never played a Resident Evil game before. But if you take the time to kind of learn the controls of the original and understand how to effectively fight as Leon in original Resident Evil 4 with those controls, it does end up clicking in a way that's pretty spectacular. And when you get to that point, like if you're getting to the end of the game and you're instantly getting into an area, shooting someone in the kneecap, running up to them, kicking them, and then shooting them in the head on the ground, getting them with a knife, so you basically killed that person with 2 rounds instead of like the 10 it would take you to take them down shooting them. And when that stuff starts coming together, the original Resident Evil really becomes like a very special game. And its story being pulled together just kind of at the last minute to tie all the scenes together is sort of part of its charm as well. And I think that you could argue it's like, oh, that's a thing about it that's bad. It's like, but it's also kind of what made it fun, because you really didn't know what was around the next corner. Like you're in this village, and then all of a sudden you're in a castle, and your enemy is this dwarf dude that seems absolutely insane. That turns in, like, I mean, I don't want to spoil too much of Resident Evil 4, but any version you play of Resident Evil 4 will be fun. That's kind of all I'm saying. But I've not watched this video though. But apparently there's a lot of anti RE4 remake people out there now.
I'm kind of
She
surprised.
did big in RE, and we were talking about it when he was in my ear the other night when I was working on 12 Days of Christmas. So
I saw.
But yeah,
if you're into Resident Evil though, do you know Sphere Hunter? YouTuber?
yeah, I know who that is. Yeah,
Have you seen the mod of her for the like not Assignment Ada, whatever they call the DLC in this one?
oh, Separate Ways.
Ways, yeah.
I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, so someone modded her into the game, and it looks flawless. Like it looks exactly like her, and
Nice.
she's on Ada's head. And to be fair, the clip that she posted on Twitter was her going through the laser maze and losing. So it's like,
Oh yeah,
you learn that it's shredded by a laser.
yeah.
I was
so
like,
how
that's in good. there.
How much have you made it through on the RE4 remake, DJ?
I'm not too far in it because I only just started playing it. So I'm still in the village area. Like I haven't made it to the castle yet, and I haven't fought the first like major boss, but I fought a few of like the other early game bosses. So
Okay,
almost about a third of the way through the game.
cool. All right, before we move on, I want to.
Montes you fought, I guess, at this point. Like the big thing is it look like the cave trolls from Lord of the Rings. You fought
Oh,
one?
I did
Gigante.
fight El Gigante already. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I know roughly
So-
what it is.
I want to say hi to a couple in chat. I was just on Goes Nowhere Does Nothing just a couple hours ago, right before this, and I heard that Mark is going to be on next week.
Yeah. Hey.
Nice.
So these are good dudes. Due to an unfortunate accident, they nuked their channel recently, so they're starting over from scratch. So go give those guys some love and go subscribe and help pump their numbers back up. They're great.
Did they
great
show
couple
boobs?
guys.
Yeah. Like,
No, it was
How-
complete user error. It was not something that the system did. It was
accidentally
something that
uploaded a
one of them
homemade
did.
porn movie. Yeah, I know what that's.
Yeah, that'll do it.
No, so
Especially that weird stuff.
good dudes, go give them some love and subscribe to them. Help build them back up. And we got another recent friend that I've made over the internet, Christian Fan the Geek. What's up? Glad to see you here. Thank you for joining us. So, Mark, what have you been playing lately?
I have been absolutely glued to Ready or Not, which is a SWAT.
Oh, I was watching you stream that the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a SWAT team first person shooter, but almost calling it a shooter is inaccurate because it's not what you're doing in most of the game. You're trying your best to not shoot. Like that's what's actually kind of crazy about it is that you're going into areas, you're shouting, "Police, hands up," and you're trying to get the person to drop their gun just by intimidating them or flanking them. Usually works pretty well. Like if you have your team on one side and then you say like hands up from beside them, then generally they'll be like, okay, like I'm done. But often you're in situations where the only place an enemy is at the end of a very long hallway, and they look at the SWAT team and they're like, "Police, shoot on sight." So you do have to do some killing, but usually that's when things are going bad. And like there's certain missions, like there's a couple missions where basically the missions are divided up into arcs. Effectively, it's like so you have the CP arc, and I'm not talking about Cyberpunk.
No, that's the one I was watching you stream the other day.
It's the way those are the missions where it's really hard to not just pull the trigger because you know what these people are responsible for. But at the same time, you also got to be thinking, hey, my rating in this mission gets a lot better because ultimately the right thing to do is to bring these people to justice and to make them face a trial and have all their crimes be exposed, to be able to take down the people above them. So you're rated as if you were an actual cop working in this situation. So it's like, no, we didn't hire John McClane. Like, we don't want you to just go in there and kill them all. We do want you to arrest them primarily. And you have to make a lot of complex tactical decisions, both in how you're moving, how you're checking corners, how you're clearing rooms and clearing doors. You don't have an unlimited amount of flashbang grenades, so you can't just flash every room and go in. You've got like 2 per squad member, and you've got 4 or 5 people on your squad in total. And some of them aren't carrying the same stuff. So you do have to be thinking about your resources. So you can't just be super careful and I'm going to flashbang every room and that's that. And game over, we win. It's no, it's like you don't have an unlimited amount. So if you mirror a door, that's kind of the best way to check things, where you throw this little mirror underneath the door and you can see what's in the room based on viewing from your little fulcrum point that like is at the bottom of a door that you've slid this mirror underneath. And generally that is the only means by which you can gather the intelligence of what is inside, what's behind this door. And some doors are locked, so you can choose to pick the lock, which the enemy might hear, but they might not. So that might be the best way to do it if you want to take them by surprise. You can put a charge of C2 on the door and just blow in and go hard. Or you can take your chances not using any resources and just open it. Try to open it quick, but sometimes your squad member pushing that door is going to be the moment that he's not ready to fire that's going to get him killed. So yeah, it's very, very quick to die. You can't take a lot of bullets. You can take a few, and as you get further into the game, your armor ratings can get a little bit better, so you can take more. But you don't take damage to the chest because your chest is armored. So effectively, they say like, okay, your shots to the chest are not really what we're rating, but your arms, your head, not your head actually is a one-hit kill, so that you don't have an armor rating for your head. It's just you can't get hit in the face, and you're done if you do. But your arms can take 2 or 3 shots, and your legs can take 2 or 3 shots. And then there's also another rating for your hip. So, like, I mean, there's a few spots where you can get hit, but that can actually make you think, okay, my right leg is severely injured. So if this is a right hand peek that I'm about to do on this corner, I'm risking the whole mission here. So that I should probably tell one of my squad members to do it. You've got really good access to the squad commands at any time. You hit the middle mouse button, and you can use the wheel to switch between gold team, which is this issuing commands to the entire team, like both individual teams, and then switch to red team or blue team if you want to split them up and do more complex strategy. But also know when you're doing that, it's like, well, I'll get this guy to kick that door, this guy to kick this door, and then that'll be fine. They'll both be doing it at the same time. If you're just putting 2 people on the door instead of 4, their chances of going in there and getting killed are significantly higher. So if you know there's going to be people in the room, it's better to stack the gold team and send everybody in than to just do one. But the point is, like, it's a first-person shooter, effectively, where you're having to be making all these decisions to have any chance of successfully getting through one of these missions. They're not overly long, but there's no checkpoints. So it's like you're looking at
very tactical
minutes in a mission, but if you fail, that's it. You don't get to continue. It's like you have to figure it out again. Or maybe your strategy entirely. Some missions you can even actually change your insertion point, so you can enter the area from the opposite way. There's also random elements, so you aren't always going to be dealing with the same enemy positions. The civilians aren't all going to be in the same room. Sometimes the evidence moves around, though there are a few missions where the evidence is just where it is, and you have to get to that room every time. But yeah, it's mostly, and I think anything below a C+ doesn't give you, it'll allow you to advance to the next mission, but you won't get the credit towards the achievement for that story arc. Because you only get an achievement. There's only 15 achievements in the game, and some of them are brutally hard that I'm never going to get, like S rank in every single mission. I'm just like, that's not happening. Like I'm not that good. I'm never going to be, I don't think. And that's that. But if you get below a C+, you can still continue the game, but you don't get the achievement for when you finish that story arc. So I think that's actually a pretty good way of gating achievement difficulty, and it's kind of why I was talking about the whole thing with when you remove difficulty from a game completion achievement entirely, it really does remove the value of it, because it means any idiot can get that achievement by just throwing it on easy and getting to the end of the game. Whereas I think saying like, yeah, you can get to the end of the game and we'll let you see the whole game if you want, but if you want the achievement, you have to perform at least at above average level, like C being average, C+ being a point above average.
That sounds
yeah, it's a really
last
good
time I played a game that tactical was like the early Rainbow Six games.
And yeah, this is the best. It's the best one of those I've ever played. It's the best like tactical military shooter. I mean, it's not military, but it's tactical law enforcement. So, I mean, honestly, infantryers doing that in a war zone versus police doing it in an urban area. It's almost the exact same techniques that you're using. I know just because I've been trained on a little bit of we have a search and seizure thing every year in the military where we have to like know how to properly search someone. It just where we're in a situation where it's us and one MP and we have to assist the MP, we at least understand what they're doing and we can assist how we can and not make any major mistakes that'll get someone killed. Because I'll tell you this, even in Ready or Not, if you make a mistake where you're just not paying attention for a split second when you needed to be, you're dead. Like, either you're dead or your whole team is, and then you're left trying to finish the mission alone. So it's not a horror game, but it's one of the scariest games I've ever played. But
unintentional horrors.
It's on Steam. I think a console version is being worked on, but currently there's no controller support even in the Steam version. It's mouse keyboard only. So I don't know how soon a console version is realistic to expect, but I mean, it seems like the kind of game that will clean up when it hits a mass audience, especially. But it's been in early access on PC for 2 years, and it just hit 1.0 on like December 13th or something. So that's why I jumped in, because I was like, oh, I've been tracking Ready or Not for a while, and it looked pretty cool. But I was just like, I'm not good enough at these kind of games that I'm going to be able to deal with the early access version or like the jank that would come with it. I've not played a ton of like tactical shooters, but I mean, this is the best one I played. I played a bunch of the Rainbow Six games, a bunch of the Ghost Recon games, and the earlier ones too, where you couldn't even see the gun. So it's I'm not
I remember those.
familiar with this type of game. It's just I'm not great at them, so I never wanted to jump in early access. But I'm super happy with the 1.0 purchase. No regrets.
Nice.
Great game.
Cool. And we also had Paul Hadouken, who we were just talking about earlier.
Our Couch Nation.
I was going to say, remember, the most important thing about Ready or Not, you get to kill a whole lot of purveyors of children's content.
Yeah, I was going to say earlier when you're talking about that, it's like you
the game is
justice. That should be a bullet or
when you said CP earlier, and then you're like, no, I'm not talking about Cyberpunk. I'm like, that's not usually what people think when they hear CP. Cyberpunk.
Like, I mean, no, like in a video game context, they might, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So a whole mission is based around taking down the people who run the company, the online company MindJot. Which look up the words "mind" and something else and see if that is a connection to any other company that's been accused of such things. I think I'm speaking in enough code that we won't get flagged.
Yeah, it's like you're dealing justice, but you have to arrest them. I was like, justice to those people is a bullet. Or what's the?
At the same time, you got to remember that anyone that you arrest is 3 above them that you can also arrest and or kill.
That's an excellent point.
It is better to arrest them. Like, it's as much as it might be hard, because it's like, hey, there's a person who is a fan of things that I find detestable firing a gun at me. Yeah, I want to just kill him, but it might be better if I just have my team flank him. We arrest him, get information out of him, put it on trial, and actually make him actually have him served the justice that he deserves, as opposed to just ending him and like letting, because he might try to kill himself, right? So like,
excellent point.
Giving him what he wants in a way.
And the other thing I was gonna say, the common meme online is the wood chipper, but we also had Real Wade Nation hopping in. What's up, Real Wade Nation?
What's up, Wade?
Wood chipper enthusiasts.
Wood chipper, yeah. So, Ryan, what have you been playing lately?
I'm gonna be honest, not a whole lot, because the holidays have really just it was a whirlwind of the last like 4 weeks. So but I do one of my side gifts was a gift card to Steam. I also got a new chair, which is nice. It came from an actual furniture store, because they know how to make actual chairs that are comfortable, not like that crap that you get on from those gaming chairs. So I'm actually looking forward to actually starting to play some real games now that work is going to be slowing down, because it was nonsensical for a long time. So no, I'm bummed out. I haven't had a chance to play anything, probably even on my, like, barely even on my phone. Like, I'll have a couple, because I play like Jurassic World Alive, right? You find the creatures and they fight, and it's like, that's not like, that's just like time wasting. It's not really
real games.
Yeah, it's not really a real game. So it's no, I want to get back into it though. I really want to, start having some fun, and maybe getting together with some of the guys again to just, kind of dick around. So yeah, I know that's not the answer you're looking for, but it's the truth.
No worries.
Yeah,
sometimes life gets in the way of playing video games. I know it sucks.
Yeah, but no, yeah, I did. I got a Steam gift card, so I'm really looking forward to downloading some stuff and getting going.
Got your eye on anything in particular?
Hold on. Let me pull up my Steam. Continue the conversation, and I'll let you know.
Like 50% off right now, and I've been debating pulling the trigger on that, but I did buy Ready or Not at full price, so I'm kind of trying to stop myself from splurging too much on the Steam sale for games I might not have time to play right away.
What was that first one that you mentioned that's 50% off?
A Bomb Rush Cyberpunk. It's kind of like Jet Set Radio.
Oh, I remember. I've heard about that game.
Yeah, it's gotten great reviews. It's overwhelmingly positive on Steam, and it looks great in its initial trailers. So I can gather that means it would be the kind of game I would probably like quite a bit. But Christmas season, you're buying a lot of gifts too, right? It's not just getting stuff.
You know, a game that I've actually had my eye on, and I know it was kind of controversial for a lot of people back when it was announced like a decade ago. I want to play 6 Days in
Sorry.
Fallujah.
Oh,
I heard
Yeah.
that's actually really good. A friend of mine, Devil-Eyed Elvis, he's the one that got me hooked up with the Trepang 2 code. I think he was. I don't think he's involved in like the development of the game, but he's like a firearms guy, so I think he might have been
Yeah.
doing some kind of work with him on that. But he likes it quite a lot. So this is a very intense game. Which I mean, after playing Ready or Not, maybe I should give it a shot. But yeah, Ready or Not, I would recommend for you if you want a game that's similar, like tactical door-to-door kind of.
I might actually give that a shot. Yeah. I come from I do have law enforcement in my background, so I sometimes I worry about games like that I'll be overly critical. Like I was having a discussion about my friend with my friend today in one of our other chats for our stream, the show that we do every Friday night. We are talking about wrestling. He's like, "Oh, you're because I'm going to be on another friend's channel," and he's like, "Oh, you're going to miss the Royal Rumble," and I'm like, "I don't care. Like wrestling's not as good as it used to be." Blah blah blah. And he's like, and it's just one of those things that like sometimes when you love something so much, you're overly critical. So I don't know. I might give it a shot. What's it called? Ready or Not? Let me look at it.
Ready or Not, yeah, and it's the best performing Unreal Engine 5 game I've played to date. Part of that might be though that you're not moving ultra fast at any point, but no
Okay.
crazy stuttering or anything. It seems to run
I
quite
did like
well.
the Rainbow Six games back in
that's
the day.
a little
yeah,
bit of
it's-
a segue for what I'm going to be talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, Ready or Not, check it out.
Oh, that
Like,
looks
watch one of my streams. They're
it's a good looking game.
I die a lot, but I eventually crack it.
Dial. Well, you haven't seen me play. I'll
Very
be dead all the
technical.
time. Like if you die a lot, I'm dead all the time.
One of the achievements is get through a hardcore mode campaign with none of your squad members dying, and I'm just like, that's impossible. Like I feel like that's impossible. There's no
Yeah.
now like, one mission, sure, but a whole campaign, someone's gonna take a round at some point. Like it's going.
Well, it's a hot button right now because there's actually a line to download the game. You have to
man.
yeah.
Based PC exclusives that everyone
Good
says
problem to have.
games like this.
Wow, that's pretty
No
much all
one
I
would
do.
be talking about them.
I can't tell you the last time I played an actual console. Like everything I do now is on the PC.
Yeah, and I
So-
honestly wish everything I did on PC was automatically on consoles as well. It's why I don't understand the exclusivity arguments. It's like, look, I wish Ready or Not was on PS5 today. It's not though.
Yeah, I don't like the exclusivity argument either. I mean, I get what they're doing, but I think it just screws people. So, and that's one reason that I leaned more towards playing stuff on the computer now because most of the time you don't have that issue.
Well, now even PlayStation and Xbox. So Xbox does it day and date, where every game that comes out there comes out on PC, and PlayStation's they're at a 2-year cycle now, but after they seem like they're not doing so great financially right now. So I think we might see day and date PlayStation exclusives on PC within the
Very
next 3 years. 3
Well,
years.
And one thing that really changed my mind is when Microsoft bought Bethesda because I'm a huge fan of Fallout, the originals and the current ones. And when they did that, I was like, they're gonna dick us, because I've only most of the stuff I do on console is on PS4, all that stuff. So and I'm like, nah, they're gonna do it. Like whether it's Elder Scrolls or which I love playing too. That's actually the first Bethesda game that got me involved was Oblivion.
Yeah,
And
Oblivion
so-
was the first one.
Yeah, I really liked Oblivion more than Skyrim. I know that's might be a hot take for some people, but
Yeah.
because everyone's like, "Oh my god, Skyrim," and I'm like,
If anything,
both
"Hey,
great.
bitches."
I less often get arguments about Oblivion being better than Skyrim shouted down by Skyrim people, and much more say, yeah, but play Morrowind because it's way better than Oblivion.
Oh yeah, that's on my list. I want to play Morrowind. I've never played it. I got it on Steam. It's on the list.
Apparently, though, the combat is definitely not as snappy, so that's the one thing I've been told to expect. That
Yeah.
it's the worst version of Bethesda combat than you can probably reasonably imagine. Which I mean, is not great, but it's also kind of fine considering how old this game is.
Mhm.
But the thing about it is that you'll have to have like a notepad. You'll have to actually kind of remember which road leads to which area because there's not like a GPS or things that you can put for your waypoints. You'll actually have to find the objectives that you're going to. And apparently that makes it much more immersive and engaging. And while you can apparently do that in both Oblivion and Skyrim, like you could set it so that you could explore the world that way with no assistance, because the game's not designed as specifically around that, it's way more difficult to do it in Oblivion or Skyrim just because the worlds are so much more dense and there's less things like signage and landmarks that you can be like, okay, I know I'm here on the map because here's where this big dragon statue is, and I'm at the big dragon statue, which means I have to go north for a good stretch of time, and then at some point start veering west, and hopefully I'll see the castle that I'm about to go raid or whatever it is.
That's all I've ever done is I explore on my own. I did it with Fallout 3. I did it with Fallout New Vegas, like playing Oblivion, Skyrim. I like to just wander and find stuff.
But when you have a mission, do you turn waypoints off so that you have to actually get engaged in the world enough to understand where people are telling you to go?
Yeah, I don't use the waypoints.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Like I've never played a Bethesda game like that, but everyone's told me that Morrowind. A lot of people have told me that Morrowind is the one to do it with because it's most specifically designed around no waypoint. Not like it's the only way to play, so it needs to be functional that way. Whereas apparently the later Bethesda games, they started getting a little bit lazier with that because they're like, okay, everyone's turning on a waypoint anyways. We can make this thing as far away and as complicated to get to as we want, because ultimately they're going to see that little V on their icon on their little compass, and they're going to move towards that until they get there. But,
well, yeah, because Skyrim, you couldn't like I think when I first played it, you had to use you couldn't use the waypoints or something like that. Am I wrong? I can't remember.
I don't know. Skyrim on 360 when it launched, and I don't think it ever didn't have waypoints, even like custom.
Okay, I've never played it on 360. I've only ever played it on.
You could untrack the quest you're working on, and then you won't get a waypoint. But if you track the quest, then you'll get a waypoint. Assuming it's a quest that has a waypoint, sometimes it's something generic, like
talk to this amount of people, or like get blank amount of item and bring to this guy.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of the guy that, like, and half the time I wouldn't even use the roads. Like, sometimes I'd use roads, but other times I would just trek right through the forest, like through the mountains. And of course, sometimes you can't climb this mountain. You got to figure out how to go around it or whatever. Yeah, I didn't realize earlier than this. I don't know if anybody noticed it, but apparently I have a dial for echo, and it was slightly turned on. And I couldn't figure out why I was hearing a slight echo in my ear. And I don't know if you guy heard that, but I turned it off. So
I did not.
Okay, well then obviously y'all didn't hear it. But yeah, no, I've played both ways. I've used because sometimes you're like, all right, I'm just like, I'm not really in an exploring mood. I just want to go and get it done. So you turn the waypoints on. But yeah, no, I love to wander. Like, I love to wander and find like ruins in the middle of nowhere, and it's like, oh, you get to go inside. Yes. And then, of course, you find out later on, there's like an individual quest where you're supposed to go there, and you kind of already. And I was like, well, I don't know. I just like
already cleared that place out. No, I have to go back and pick up what I missed.
Yeah, I like exploring stuff.
So, but yeah, for me, I kind of the same as last time. Because I've been working on the 12 Days of Christmas event on True Achievements, which I finished up on Thursday night. So I've been playing a ton of different games, not really focusing on any one thing in particular. DJ helped me with one of them because one of the games I ended up playing for a few achievements was Bloodstained Curse of the Moon, and he has already 100%ed it, and I had never played it before, so he was helping guide me through that. So that was very helpful. But yeah, other than I probably went through like 20 or 30 different games, getting achievements here and there to fulfill all those requirements. The only thing I have been playing pretty consistently, and it wasn't even I might have mentioned it last time too, but I've been having fun. It's very zen, is Satisfactory, because I got that on the Steam fall sale, and I've been really enjoying that. And that was one thing that I was going to mention a few minutes ago, is because that runs on Unreal Engine 5 as well, and it's ran excellent. I've had no issues with it. And I know that Marcus, we have talked previously that most of the Unreal Engine 5 games don't run as well because they're not really optimized for it like they were for Unreal Engine 4, but I've had no problems with Satisfactory running on Unreal Engine 5, so it's been really nice.
Yeah, games tend to do that better. Like they tend to make it so the games run better on the hardware that it's coming out on, because generally indie developers are like, I mean, is Satisfactory indie, or is it just like a small team?
I know don't know.
Well, it's like I have it all.
Whoa, the Mass Effect Legendary Edition is 90% off on Steam.
Oh wow.
Holy cow! It's $6.
If you haven't played Mass Effect yet, now's your chance. Go do it.
Oh yeah, no, I mean I've played all of them, but I don't have it on. Like, I would, shoot, I'm gonna buy that. It's $6 for 3 games.
That is one of the greatest deals.
That's insanity. Yeah, no, I always look for deals on Steam. I love it, but like also like you can get the BioWare Mega Collection bundle for $30.55, 85% off. It has all the Dragon Ages and Mass Effect.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's insanity.
Satisfactory is Coffee Stain Publishing, so it's absolutely an indie game. But the thing is, though, they're not trying to crank the settings to the stratosphere here. They're they're just trying to make a game that functions and looks good enough that people find it aesthetically pleasing, and that generally is a much easier target to hit. Whereas I think the issue is when you get something like the Callisto Protocol that's trying to make it look like just a movie you're playing on an engine that people don't know how to use, and it just ends up running like crap.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I'm literally buying that BioWare Mega Collection right now.
Nice.
all those games for $30, dude. I love the Dragon Age franchise too. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible.
So
Oh.
I like Dragon Age Origins. I'm not crazy about the rest of the series.
I've heard that Origins is
yeah,
good.
two's a little rough. I didn't like that. I didn't like how some of the stuff they changed in it. I think Inquisition was pretty good. I still think Origins is the greatest though, by far. It's not even a contest.
That's
Yeah,
fair.
Origins is good stuff.
So with that, we will get into our first topic for today. And given that it is the end of the year tomorrow, thought it'd be fun to talk about any gaming New Year's resolutions you might have. DJ, you got anything that you're gaming wise that you're looking to accomplish in the new year, new me?
Probably just getting more retro achievements. Ever since I talked to Dude 1286 about that, I've been really big into retro gaming achievements. So definitely want to
Yes.
collect more of those.
After Dude and I's last episode of Achievement Chasers, he got me into retro achievements as well, and I'll be talking about that more on Achievement Chasers episode 3, which we'll be doing in a couple weeks. But yes, I'm right there with you.
And really, the only other thing is more live stream related. Is just just streaming more games that I'm really really passionate about on stream. That's kind of it.
Cool. Yeah, I know you put out your excellent music, you do remixes and stuff, but I know lately you've been doing some streaming, which has been awesome. So looking forward to seeing more from that. I don't know if I know you did it once. I don't know if you've done it again since, but I know you're talking about doing Mega Man Mondays. So
yeah, in fact, I think the next one I'm gonna do is X1. I know you and Gino are absolutely looking forward to that.
The puppy.
It's like it's just while DJ was talking, there's a growling. I'm like, who's growling at DJ?
That was Mark.
That was hysterical.
It's okay.
Yeah,
He's in a good position. He's a good boy.
The only two retro achievement
like
games
that
I've played
anime
so far
avatar.
is X1 and X2. So I'm all about Mega Man X.
Yeah, that was funny. Sorry, I'm so sidetracked now because the dog was.
X1 is my favorite.
What was that?
I said X1 is my favorite, but JoJo's still growling, so I was trying to use JoJo.
The Mega Man X trilogy are my favorite SNES games. X3 particularly is my favorite, but they are all fantastic. Cool.
She's fine.
I know, it's just really funny though. Like it's so derailed my train of thought.
No, she's settled, so it's good.
All right. Well, since your train of thought is all derailed, Ryan, do you got any 2024 gaming resolutions?
No. yeah, to play more, to actually play more and actually do it on live stream, right? Because I had somebody who's like, dude, your main channel's bigger than the one that you do all, so I cover pop culture stuff because I love movies and television, right? Ever since I was a kid, like I've always been like massive movie fan, like going to the theater and stuff. But anyway, it's like your gaming channel is bigger than your other channel. Why don't you play video games? And I'm like, I got to find time, it's been hard over the last, 4 or 5 weeks to find time to actually sit down where I don't have a live stream of something else to do, to do one, just to sit down. So yeah, it's been tough. No, I want to freaking game more, to be honest. It's fun. I like it.
Yeah, you knew people with all your channels and constantly streaming all the time. Mark doesn't know what that's like.
Yeah, to be fair, like this year we are going to pare our relationship content down to one channel, so we're going to get rid of human cyborg relations and just do the show I do with X-Ray Girl on Poor Choices instead. So
okay.
channels isn't
Okay,
always
yeah.
because sometimes it gets hard to like actively have content coming up on all of them. So it's like,
Yeah.
well, why don't we just try to focus things in a little bit? I'm also going to be making a lot more edited videos this year than streaming, but I'm still going to stream.
Okay. Yeah, I know Classy Vigilante has been a real Chad in that department.
Yeah, he makes my clips.
So, yeah, so for me, it's basically the same thing it's been for the last 3 years. And I've been making progress, but I think I'm finally going to be able to finish it. Is recover my dive and finally make it back to the completion percentage I was at, and then I'll be opening up the floodgates and playing a lot of new stuff. So I've got a lot of games that I'm planning on playing. So many that I know I'm not going to get through them all this year, but I'll definitely be less strict on the criteria that I use to decide on what games I'm going to play. Because in the past, I've been like, we've talked about it before, like maybe based on the difficulty or the achievements, like, I don't want to play that game, even though it looks interesting. So I might be opening up that. Like right now, Sifu is on sale on Xbox for like $16. And I'm
really
and I
good.
know you're talking about how good it is. I watched your video on it. It's great. The achievements are like brutal. So I was like, but it's still on sale for a few more days. So I'm probably going to pick that up and throw that into the upcoming backlog because that looks like a fun game. And then because I'm mainly an Xbox guy, just play more on other platforms as well. Now that I'm building a bit of a Steam library, be playing some more Steam games. I'm looking forward to that as well. So, and we had a couple other friends hopping in the chat here. Buddy Insidious Bliss, what is up? Even though he constantly taunts me and pretends to be me in melee chat tips and trolls me about Mace Windu. Hello, Insidious Bliss. And Shaka Zulu.
What does he troll you about with Mace Windu?
Oh, so it's an ongoing thing between Melee James and Kay and I because they hate Mace Windu and I love Mace Windu, and so Insidious Bliss will chat them pretending to be me, saying how Mace Windu sucks. I'm like, dang it, Bliss, messing with me. Mace Windu is awesome.
Yeah, Melee J was on one of our episodes of Star Trek Engage, and he didn't realize. Yeah, he didn't realize how degenerate it gets on that show. He's kind of shocked. It was pretty funny, but I guess Melee K, she doesn't like Star Trek, so like
I just don't think she knows much about Star Trek. Just like me, like I could go on a Star Wars stream. I would not go on a Star Trek stream because I know very little about it.
No, it was a lot of fun having him on, man, because it was just because when you get the because obviously Star Trek Engage is done with I think the majority. Well, half of us are Legion of Memers, so of course it gets pretty out of control. Speaking of Legion of Memers, you can see my background. That was one that was done. Some captain's log, and then there's a bucket. So you can put that together. Shitting in a bucket. Yeah, DJ you can put that one together.
Legion of Memers. I was on the meme stream a month or two ago. That was fun. Extra Zero is a good
a bunch of cool guys, man. So what's cool about that is on Vets Talking, which we do every Saturday night. We're actually going to have Gary on January 6th.
Oh yeah,
Gary's going to be on. Yeah, Horny Alf worked hard on that one, so that's cool.
That's right. They mentioned that I think on Ballbusters last night on Dermies.
Oh, did they? I haven't watched Ballbusters yet. They get fucking hammered. Sorry for the language. Sorry.
We also had another good buddy, Beard of Liberty, hopped in the chat. What's up, Beard? Hey, speak his name and he shall appear. Extra Zero's here. We were just talking about you and the great Legion of Memers. We love you back. Thank you.
Who invited him here?
I unintentionally did. No, Extra Zero is a good dude as well. That was fun being on meme stream. So yeah, let me know. I could probably make it happen. So, all right. So, that's pretty cool. A little bit quicker than I thought for question 1. So question 2.
I actually did.
Shaka Zulu. Everyone on Ballbusters got diabetes.
They did. They ate a lot of Oreos last night.
Oh God, that's funny.
I didn't get my resolution, but mine's quick. I just want to.
Sorry, Mark.
I want to sidetrack Yakuza 2 and play 3, 4, 5, and 6, so that I'm caught up on all the mainline Yakuza games. But I will be streaming Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, probably in Japanese at the end of the month, unless you guys want to see it for the memes. Though it was really funny when we were playing the demo of it, I was just reading Young Yaz's lines in my own Kiryu voice, and people tended to say that I was better than him. And I wouldn't make that claim. People on the stream were like, yeah, you sound better, and you're just doing it off the top of your head, and you're not a voice actor. I was like, oh, man. Don't go into voice acting, everybody. It might be a bad idea.
Last time we talked about some stuff that we're looking forward to. One game I'm looking forward to that we showed the trailer was Showa American Story. I'm looking forward to that one.
I just
Yeah, it looks-
rewatched that episode of Party Chat yesterday.
It's on Steam if you want to watch the trailer. It's Showa American Story.
Yeah, I think that was on the Party Chat you missed because you were still traveling from Chrissy's house.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
How is Showa spelt?
SHOWA.
WA. Yeah.
Yeah, we watched the trailer at the end of last Party Chat because I had never even heard of it. And yeah, it's kind of like, I don't even know how to describe it.
I think it said it was supposed to be releasing Q1 of 2024. Now it says planned release date to be announced, and I'm like, oh, that sucks.
It kind of looks like Dynasty Warriors. I don't know. No, I'm not sure what to make of this. It says release date to be announced on Steam.
Yeah. It used to be Q1 2024. They changed it.
Never heard of the studio. They've made a game called Dying.
I can't remember where I saw the trailer for this, but I think it was on something that it's been a long time ago. Well, somebody though on YouTube talked about it because that's how I heard about it.
Their only other game on Steam is rated mostly positive overall. So I mean, that's like, I mean, it would be different if I clicked on their other games and every single one of them was overwhelmingly negative. I'd be like, yeah, maybe pump the brakes on being excited about this one. But one other game, so they're not a super experienced studio. Last game was in 2018, and Showa American Story is to be announced release date, which means they're working on it. And yeah, it's a
well, at least they pushed it because instead of trying to rush it out, I hate it when studios rush stuff out. So yeah, I'd rather them push it than rush it.
Or like I said, if you're going to rush it, just call it early access. Let us know what we're paying for.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
Started making that point. I've definitely jumped on board that boat as well.
Yeah, because again, Ready or Not is a game that just hit 1.0 that was in early access for 2 years. I could have played it anytime during that time, but I was like, I'm interested, wish list, but not interested enough to jump in at early access. So but at the same time, there's been people playing that game and giving them feedback and making the game better for 2 years. So I don't see the downside of that.
Yeah.
No, I think early access is a great thing, to be honest, because then you can work on the downfalls instead of just vomiting something out and then it just sucks. Mm-hmm. Looking at you there, Starfield.
Yeah, well, I mean, Starfield is not a perfect game.
I've seen some goods and bads with early access because I know some games that are like still in early access like 7 years later. So it can be good if done right, but there are sadly still developers that abuse it and they just use it as basically you pay to beta test their game for them.
Yeah.
At least it's got.
But I mean, if you're the thing is, if you're told that it's early access, I'm fine with it. Is if you tell me this is a finished product and it's a beta test for the next 3 years. That's when
exactly the point I was going to make.
Yeah, I think game developers have definitely taken advantage. Because I'm kind of over the whole DLC thing too, and you found out that was supposed to actually be a part of the original game. And it's like, oh, well, you pay for this, and it's like, no, dude, I'm kind of sick of that shit. You need to. I remember a time when I think we all do remember a time when they actually released a completed game. There was no DLC. That was it. It was on a disc. It was on a cartridge, and that was it. So, kind of over the DLC.
I mean, yes and no. Because that's not 100% true. Because they did do DLC back even on Super Nintendo days. They just made you buy the whole other game. Street Fighter Champion Edition, Street Fighter Championship Edition Turbo, Super Street Fighter 2.
Ironically, I never played any of the Street Fighters.
And see that was only certain companies that did that too. Like not everyone was doing that. That was a Capcom thing specifically.
I mean, I would make the arguments that sports games are almost always that 100% of the time, even now. So like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I never played those on back on console days.
but like that's what I mean though. Like the more you say, okay, but I just didn't play those games. It's like, yeah, but they were doing it though, and they were making money with it. So it's not like it didn't exist. It just people weren't as bothered by it. But at the same time, the people who were getting hit by it, because I mean, for example, if you bought every single version of Street Fighter 2 that was on Super Nintendo, you're looking at like $600 on Street Fighter or something like that. And that's kind of predatory when ultimately, if there was a means by which to just add more stuff to the game that you already bought for a reasonable price, I think that we are in a better space now than then. Even though, like, I mean, the idea of 1.0 being the only version of the game at least forced developers to put out what they felt was the actual finished product because there's no updates. That is an upside in the sense that it keeps developers honest, or at least honest to a degree, because let's face it, lots of unfinished games also have never not shipped. Like anytime there's a movie-based game on NES or Super NES, you can bet that thing was thrown together in like a weekend, and it's just being pushed out the door so that they can sell some cartridges in addition to movie tickets on that weekend. And like
for the most part,
sometimes they'd result in an okay game. So like I'm not even totally knocking that, but I don't necessarily think that the modern model of being able to update a game and make it better over time is bad. I think just developers have got to stop putting out early access products and calling them finished products. That's really all that needs to happen. Because again, like I said, I do not regret. I could have got Ready or Not cheaper had I bought it while it was in early access, because it was $40 in early access, $60 when it came out here, and it's Canadian dollars. That's probably cheaper for you guys. But so I wasted money by not jumping into the early access, but I also didn't know that the game would ever be good. So like that's kind of it's the plus and minus. It's like, what, you can play the game now. It's like, yeah, but it might suck. The thing is they're just releasing the game and saying it's done, and it's the same deal. It's like, yeah, you could buy it now. You could buy Starfield now. You could buy Cyberpunk 2077 and in December of 2020, but you might not be getting the experience you think you're paying for, because it's the one we're telling you you're paying for, but really we're still working on it. It's not going to be done for a while. We just know that you guys want it now really badly. And I think that the solution to, hey, give it to the people who want it now really badly. Let them give you money now. Let them give you feedback. Let them help you finish it, because they want to buy it now. They want to play it now, like, no matter what state it's in. It's just like, no, I just want to try this game. It looks awesome. It looks like it's totally up my alley. I understand it's going to be unfinished. I'm going to maybe play it, maybe get really into even the unfinished version, and then start giving you feedback on how I think you should nudge the game towards its 1.0. Like, hey, this control scheme that you have here sucks. You should probably not make it the default. You should probably think of something better. Here's what I use. Something like that is a note that could never get addressed, or it might be addressed the next day, especially if you're talking about an indie studio who is actually reading all the feedback on early access. Because for them, they're like, well, we don't know if we're ever going to make any money in this industry ever. So our only choice is for this game to come out and be really good. But we need money to start making it now. So we'll release it in early access and hopefully develop a community that will help us turn it into a game that's going to be as good as something like Baldur's Gate 3 or Ready or Not, for example. I think that's the way.
What's up, Dempsey?
I agree. And Dempsey hopping in the chat. What's up, Dempsey? Good to see you here, bro.
He says, that's how I feel about people saying, I'll wait for the director's cut of Rebel Moon. Stop charging people for unfinished products. I haven't watched Rebel Moon yet, but
Rebel Moon either. Like it's you subscribe to Netflix, but my argument is like, yeah, I'm subscribed to Netflix, so theoretically I've paid for Rebel Moon. I don't care about Rebel Moon though, and I'm not even to the point that I want to like go through it and pick it apart. It's like, no, it's a thing that exists.
I want to watch it, but I've heard it's boring. I mean, that's just some people's opinions, but
it's a little different on a subscription service.
That is just as much of a reason I've paid for my Netflix subscription than the reality shows which X-Ray Girl watches. I don't factor those into whether or not I want to be subscribed to Netflix. Obviously, because it's my wife, that's a bit of a different story. But you know what I mean? It's like they're just things on the streaming service I'm probably not ever going to watch, and I'm not very interested in. It's mostly because
I'll say this: when it comes to Starfield, I'm not playing it, not just because it's not a buggy mess, but the whole pronoun thing, man. Like I'm just not doing it, because you're forcing people to choose, and I don't like that. Like if you could turn that off, be like, all right, fine.
I'd make the argument that, like, again, I understand where Az was coming from in his rant, so I wouldn't necessarily be arguing against him, but he was also talking about more than just the menu. I would argue it's honestly not too much selecting body type in most modern games now, anyways, which you can make just as much of an argument about, but ultimately then you're playing no video games. Like you got
I mean, I completely get it. The problem is though, is that they shoehorned it in there for all the wrong reasons, and that's where I have an issue because I'm to the point I'm tired of other people telling me, especially from, and this is before Az's rant. As soon as I heard there were pronouns in it, I'm like, I'm not playing it until they get rid of it. And then of course, as showed a lot more of what happened. I'm just tired of crap being shoehorned in, and then they expect they're like, well, you have to accept this. It's like, well, I'm just not gonna play your fucking game then. Like, that's the way it is.
Yeah, fair enough. I tend to not take these developers have different political positions than I do, therefore I'm not playing their game position. But ultimately, like, your money's yours to spend for whatever reasons you want.
It's not that. It's the thing.
Just to finish my point though, with Starfield though, it's honestly not that great a game. Like, I think that would be the reason to not play it. As far as it's the reason I'm not playing it. Like, I honestly don't care about most of the gender stuff, because especially the character creation option, it's a thing that you pick, and if you want to pick something that's abnormal or like other than the normal, then you can, but ultimately I'm not going to, so I don't really care. But at the same time, if the game was absolutely incredible, I would be arguing on its behalf, but I think the game is not that great. So it's like, yeah, I think you're making the right choice not playing Starfield. I just think we're coming at it from very different reasons.
Well, it's not that they have different political opinions. I'm very live and let live. The problem is though, is that so like if what is it, Nexus mods would have kept the mod in there to where you can actually mod it out, I would probably play the game, right? But it's the fact that now you're not allowed to edit this out because of homophobia or whatever the fuck they want to call it nowadays. I don't care about other people's political views. You can think that the moon is made of cheese. I'm gonna think you're a dumbass, but that's the thing. The problem is that when you're forcing me to believe or to participate in your fantasy, that's when I'm like, no. When did we let the crazy people in? Is where I'm coming from. And now they're running things, and then they're just vomiting this garbage on other people. So I mean, I would rather go back and play like Dragon Age Origins, like, because I know it's a fun game. And look, I have a friend who played Starfield. He loves it. He's like, "Oh my god, it's so great!" And I'm like, "Okay, great." And it's like, and then I've heard other people say it's boring. I don't know. I'm just probably not going to play it until eventually they let maybe finally when the whole Nexus mod thing finally dies down, somebody might make a mod for it, and they maybe not get their
mods
stuff
from other
banned.
sites that can do that, right? Because Nexus mod isn't the only mod site.
There, it's like there's like based mods or something like that. There's like a competitor that's supposed to be the place where every mod that gets banned from Nexus goes up on this one right away. I've never used it, so I don't know about it. Mostly because honestly, like, I don't really care about it. I assume that people making modern AAA video games are in San Francisco, New York.
Oh, absolutely.
The Pacific Northwest. So I understand that they're probably still going to be left of, like, Canadian liberal me, like, who grew up in Toronto. So like, I'm not even like ultra right wing or conservative or anything. I'd say I'm like a little bit left of center. But I understand that these people are going to have different views on things than I would necessarily. But I don't necessarily let that get in the way of me saying, okay, but did they make a good video game? Because ultimately, that's what I care about. I'm like, I guess you could argue this: would it be possible for a Soviet communist in like the 1940s or 50s or something like that, like early Cold War, to make a beautiful movie, like a beautiful piece of art?
Of course, yeah.
So that's what I mean. So it's like, well, I mean, even if it's inherently about communism and a pro-communist perspective, if it's a very beautiful, well-made movie with interesting characters, that perspective being presented is something that you can just observe and give your take on it from there. Like, be like, well, I still don't agree with any of this stuff, but hey, I mean, they made a good movie here. I kind of view modern video games like that. It's like, even if I don't necessarily agree with the people who are making this one-to-one, even though I'm probably, honestly, my stance on most of it is just, yeah, do what you want. I don't really care. But I like it's like, yeah, there are things that obviously would be over the line for me, right? I'm not like an ultra progressive guy that's like, every single thing is only based on the progressive stack, and therefore being white and male, I'm on the bottom, but I get one step up because I'm legless. Yeah, I don't view the world like that at all, and I think it's silly. But that doesn't necessarily mean that I don't think people who do view the world that way aren't capable of making something cool. Like, because they might, and I should be honest about how cool or not it is, right?
Yeah,
I
I've
think probably the
kind of
biggest
in the same
controversy.
vein.
I was just gonna
Is
say real
that
quick, the biggest
okay?
controversy, Atomic Heart, because I played Atomic Heart, and I don't agree with obviously where their political views from the people who made it, but yeah, I mean, or their social views or whatever. But no, I think Atomic Heart's a great game. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, kind of like I'm not a fan of
I have
Rockstar. Like
mixed
I don't.
feelings on Atomic Heart, but I did play it though, and there
Yeah,
was definitely stuff to like about it. I would say that for sure. Lots
I
of really
remember
good
when you
art.
streamed it. Yeah, like I don't like Rockstar's games, but I don't necessarily think that they're bad games. Like I can differentiate between the two.
Yeah, I'm not a
So
Rockstar fan either. There's never anything that of theirs that I'm like, oh, I gotta play that.
so
I've really been loving playing Red Dead Redemption 2 with my wife. It's been a lot of fun.
I know you guys
We're,
been playing that lately.
we're playing single player on her channel, not and mostly she's playing and I'm just watching. But Red Dead Redemption 2 is actually a pretty good Western TV series to watch.
I've watched people play it, and it's highly entertaining. Yeah. So the original is really good too, and there are some exceptions, right? I think they also made L.A. Noire, and I think that was a good game also. But
Rockstar published it, but it was actually an Australian
oh,
team.
was it?
Bondi
Okay.
that made that one, so it wasn't like the Hauser brothers writing it. Though Grand Theft Auto 6 also doesn't have the Hauser brothers writing, so we'll see how that goes. Which I mean, I'm not saying that as to condemnation. It's definitely going to be bad, but it's like, well, the guys that wrote all the cool Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead Redemption stuff are not there anymore. So let's see how they do without them. And ultimately, the
Yeah.
answer is, did they hire good writers or not? And I guess we'll see.
So, all right. And we had a couple more hop in chat. We got buddy Tim's talk. What's up, man? And also a new recent buddy of mine, Spartacus. Thanks for joining us. He hopped in to audio chat while I was doing 12 Days of Christmas on Thursday night. So we got to chat about a bunch
Real
of good
quick,
stuff.
Spartacus has a question. He says, "Mark, how do you feel about wheelchair people now getting the proper attention they needed with in Doctor Who? They no longer will be
Oh my
depicted
god!
as evil wheelchair people. Only good. Also, the new TARDIS has a wheelchair ramp, so that's great."
If you go to Shiny FX, like SHINEEY, or it might just be NY, and then FX. He's a YouTuber that he kind of looks like a clone trooper, but he sort of designed he does Unreal Engine animation and things like that, and he's kind of a VTuber person that sort of looks like something akin to a clone trooper. A great animation too. He's a very talented guy, but he actually interviewed me about that Doctor Who thing specifically.
Cool.
So I'd recommend going to his channel to check that out. I'm sure if you search Shiny FX Mark or Doctor Who, it'll come up.
I'll look for that, and I'll put that in the stream notes. Cool.
Yeah, I think it's still was the short version.
All right. So I usually like to ask the guest if there's any topics they like to cover, and so we've got one here that was suggested by DJ Axis. We've covered a very similar topic previously on like one of your most like your best gaming accomplishment. But this one in particular is more about what is your proudest actual like achievement or trophy, like something where something actually popped up, says you got this achievement. So DJ, since that was kind of your question, what are some of your top proudest achievements?
The two that I can think of offhand is 100%ing Castle in the Darkness, which is a very, very difficult 2D platformer. It's like a 2D pixely Metroidvania, and it's notoriously hard.
I've never even heard of
and
that
the-
one.
Yeah, I think it's by Nicholas. They published Cave Story and things like that. A few other
Okay,
games.
I know of that game, but I have not played it.
Yeah, it's worth playing, but it can be mercilessly hard. And the other one is finishing. All right, so this one is like part of it is the achievement, and then the other part is like a personal accomplishment afterwards, if that still counts.
Okay,
The achievement
I
side
guess
of
we'll
it
let it
was
slide.
okay. So the achievement side of it was 100%ing Resident Evil Revelations, and I absolutely love Rev 1. It's one of my favorite Resident Evil games. But to 100% it, you also have to completely finish raid mode, and the secret end boss he's pretty tricky. Like even if you have a partner. So I 100%ed that, and then later on, when I had the gear to do so, I actually soloed Ghost Norman, like no co-op player, and it took some doing, but I managed to get it done. And for me, like that's the ones in recent memory that are my most proudest achievements.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I don't think I know of either. Oh, well, I know of the Resident Evil, but I don't. We were talking about it the other night.
I
I
played
don't have a lot of
Revelations.
experience.
Revelations is good. It's got the best Jill Valentine model.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Oh, I was talking about it, I think earlier today on Goes Nowhere Does Nothing. I know that you guys will know the answer to this because you're Resident Evil guys. What was the Resident Evil where I think you pick between two different characters and one of them, and it's basically the difficulty setting, but you don't really know it because you would think that the character that, what's that one?
That's the first one, original.
That is the first one?
Because
Yeah.
Chris
Okay.
doesn't have as many inventory slots as Jill. I think he can take a bit more damage, but not enough to make it really matter.
Okay, I was thinking it was like 2 or 3. Not that I've played it, but I heard about it on a list video, and I remember one of the characters was the man, one was a woman, and you would think the man would be easier because you have better weapons and stuff, but it ends up being harder in the long run.
2 additional inventory slots to carry more ammo and a healing item is infinitely better than being able to take like 1 extra hit before you die.
Yeah.
Because if you have a first aid spray, that's like 5 hits, right?
Mhm.
Like, it's your entire health, so you gotta manage your resources. So having the extra slots actually makes the game a lot easier. Also, Jill's
I think Chris, like he gets his handgun a little bit later. Like I think Jill gets access to like a firearm a little bit earlier in the original game. So like if you play as Chris, not only do you have less inventory slots, but you kind of have to rely on your knife for just a little bit longer than Jill does.
the knife in Resident Evil 1 is not good.
No, it's not. It's
no Resident
absolutely
Evil 4
atrocious.
knife. The Resident
Yeah.
Evil 4 knife, even in the original, was very effective, and it was the first time Resident Evil did that because the knife was basically useless. Like almost.
It's like a meme weapon, yeah. And I didn't get to mention this when we were talking about RE4, but I would say like the knife is arguably the best weapon in the game in RE4
Yeah,
if you know how to play
absolutely.
Leon right.
Yeah. No, I would 100% agree. It's the most useful thing you have in your tool set because it's so very effective for a lot of things, including just saving you ammo. Like that's the biggest one is that using the knife makes your guns much more viable because you can use them more when you need them.
Exactly.
I've heard a very similar thing about the plasma cutter in Dead Space. That is, are you like the best gun?
The balance
It is
different though, because in Dead Space you pick up ammo based on the weapons that you're carrying. So only carrying the plasma cutter means every ammo pickup that you get in the game will be plasma cutter ammo, unless it's ammo that's like beside a new weapon that you're picking up, because like the game is assuming that you might want to try that weapon, like the Ripper or whatever you pick up. But also what you then do is if you ever pick up anything that you don't need, you can sell it and buy ammo. Whereas even in Resident Evil 4, you can't buy ammo. It's only pick up from dead enemies. So it's you can buy a lot of stuff from the "what are you buying" guy, but ammo is not one of those things. Whereas in Dead Space, you can buy ammo, so it makes the balance is a lot different.
I kind of felt. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, dude.
Oh, so that ammo exclusivity thing is a thing in RE4 to some degree. There are some set spots where you'll get specific ammo like Magnum rounds, but if you only carry like the handgun in RE4, you'll only get handgun ammo like from enemy drops.
Yeah, that is true as well. But I meant that like it's the ammo pickups and everything, and like so the whole game just says, okay, you're doing a plasma cutter run. Let's give you all the plasma cutter ammo you can get. Whereas Resident Evil, you're right, it will your enemy drops will be weighted in terms of the weapons that you're carrying because it doesn't want to be giving you useless ammo in the middle of a fight.
Ryan, you were about to say something?
I was just gonna say, I think Resident Evil's awesome. I've played some of the games. I'm not going to say that they resonated massively with me. Like I think they're fun, but nothing that like hooked me crazily. What I didn't like though is when they added the vendor in. I didn't like that. I think it kind of took some of the survival out of it. I don't know. I know some people like have always complained about inventory space, but
Resident Evil 4 is not a survival horror game. I would also
no, it's not. No, it's not.
And the first 2 were debatably 3 wasn't. Code Veronica was, but 4 and on, they're action games primarily.
I always leaned more towards me personally. I like the Silent Hill games because they were very survival horror. So
I sort of only think the first 3 were any good. And even then 3 I didn't really get super into, although a lot of people have made the argument it's better than 2. I think I might have played like half of 3 and then just got bored.
no.
But yeah, no,
I've played. So I played 1, 2. 2's my favorite. 3, Homecoming, and then 4 is The Room. Right where you're trapped in. Yeah, I think it's The Room.
Mhm.
4
I
is the
don't think I've played. Maybe I've played 5. I can't remember. It's been a
That's
while.
Silent Hill, right?
Silent Hill, yeah. No,
Yeah.
I love the Silent Hill games. Those are my favorite. Like, and one thing that actually hooked me on Silent Hill was that actually back when you were able to rent games, right? So we had a Hastings in my hometown, and my buddy and I would get together, and obviously we were like freaking kids on like a Friday or Saturday night, and we rented Silent Hill 2 one time, and we were playing this like at night, and we thought it'd be funny to turn the lights off. Game freaked us the hell out. I'm gonna tell, and I was hooked ever since.
Nice.
So, yeah, I was I think Silent Hill. A lot of people know Resident Evil a lot more. I think Silent Hill is kind of a kind of an unsung gem.
I'd say it's still a well-known franchise, but yeah, it doesn't get the recognition.
Yeah,
as
it doesn't.
Resident Evil.
Yeah,
Silent Hill is much more focused on horror than action, though. And Resident Evil, even in the original games, like if you compare Resident Evil 1 to Silent Hill 1, there's a lot more shooting in Resident Evil than in Silent Hill.
yeah.
You're fighting monsters for most of Resident Evil, where Silent Hill, you're kind of encouraged to be running away from stuff more than anything else, right?
I think 2 changed that a little bit because they kind of force you more to interact with them.
Yeah.
So I think I still think 2 is the best by far when it comes to the horror aspect, when it comes to the story aspect, even the combat. Like it's really good. But yeah, no, they do have Silent Hill Homecoming on Steam, and their Silent Hill 2 is coming to Steam also. So that's cool.
Well, yeah, the remake,
Oh, okay.
the
Wait, there's
Blu-ray remake. Wait, do you not know about the Silent Hill 2 remake? Yeah, I think it was supposed to come out in 2023. I think they just blinked because Dead Space and Resident Evil 4 were so good.
No,
And-
I think it's the original, dude. I could be wrong. Hold on, let me look.
I would say I would be surprised those games weren't on Steam already.
No, I think Mark's right.
You can play Silent Hill 2 on PC very easily by just emulating it, but the only way to officially
yeah.
the 2 that's on Steam will be the, I'm gonna guess, probably not very good remake.
Yeah, no, if the recommended graphics processor is NVIDIA GeForce 2080 RTX, yeah, no. That's not the original. No, I played the original. I love the original.
Yes, stuff like that. I would probably
So
never bet
iffy
against
about
Mark on
remakes.
stuff like that.
It says remake. I'm so iffy about it, dude.
Yeah, I know we talked about that. I think on last
The
episode.
team is
On
not
red
very
flags.
like, that's what makes me worried. Is that like I think this developer does not make good games. So I mean, like they're welcome to surprise me, but I've not enjoyed any of the Bloober Team games that I've played.
Yeah, no, I'm. Whenever they say remake instead of remaster, I'm like, what are you doing?
No.
It's like, what are you gonna do to it? You're gonna do something.
I mean, to be fair, they seem like they're trying to make it just look and play kind of like the original, but at the same time, I don't know that that's going to go over very well with most of modern video game consumers, because it's not the same kind of game as Resident Evil 4 or Dead Space.
Yeah.
And so I think that, like, with it being the third high profile, like best in the series remake from like a classic horror franchise coming out in the same year as Dead Space and Resident Evil 4 is probably a very bad idea.
Yeah.
Because Dead Space and Resident Evil 4 are pretty special games. They're they're really incredible, and they play incredibly well, even the originals, as far as like how they feel to just play as a video game, even if you don't care at all about getting scared. Whereas Silent Hill is mostly about atmosphere, which is why I'm a little bit worried that a team that isn't fantastic with that stuff is doing that. And I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, again, Bloober Team, make it great and surprise me. I'll be happy, but I also don't trust it as far as I'm
Resident
that's-
Evil 4 and Dead Space, I think, have aged very well.
Oh yeah, the originals are still great.
I don't think I agree with that with Resident Evil 4, because Resident Evil 4 took the franchise in a different direction, and I think a lot of original Resident Evil fans hated it. And
Right,
we've seen
that's not what I'm
what
saying.
Jeremy and Ripa have this argument, right?
Well, I think I could stand toe to toe with either of those two when it comes to arguing about video games. I have with
Yeah.
Jeremy frequently, but
Yes.
I will say though that the thing is though, yeah, you're right. They didn't make a survival horror game with Resident Evil 4, but they did make the best third-person shooter that existed at the time. That is kind of it's sort of been the blueprint for every third-person shooter that's ever happened since, because it was the like 3/4 wide shot into over-the-shoulder camera angle. That was the game. Like,
Yeah.
and
what I was just saying is that they've aged well. Is that they're still great games to play, even if you weren't a fan of what they did with it. They're still, they still play well.
Oh, I would absolutely agree. Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that one.
And
the thing
just
about,
real quickly, I was going to say, Spartacus, we have talked about this on a few previous episodes of Party Chat, so we've talked about that.
Yes, and I give it applause.
We're happy about that. So, go ahead, DJ.
They saw CRPG cleaning up, and they're like, "Okay, we've got to not make this action game with KOTOR's story. Let's do Baldur's Gate 3, but in KOTOR."
Yeah. So the thing about the franchise going from RE3 to RE4, you have to remember at the time the market was absolutely saturated with RE clones at the time. Like games people probably haven't even heard about today. There were so many games trying to ape RE's like tank control system, and that's why Capcom was like, maybe we should do something a little bit different right now. And I know that it's still contentious. There are still people that absolutely love the fixed camera angles, and they're good for the time too. I still like the classic RE games, but like I will forever be an RE4 and even an RE5 apologist. I know it's bad. I love it. It's just a guilty
I'll
pleasure.
apologize for 5 less than 4, but yeah, I do enjoy both 4 and 5. 6 is a little weird.
Yeah, six not so much, but 5 is just the best
entertaining to play. Like 6 is okay as a game to play. It's just not the best of those 3 games, and it's easily the worst of the 3. And I thought 5 was a pretty big step down from 4 as far as the game's structure went, more than anything else. Mostly because when you add co-op into Resident Evil, that really does it kills the little element of horror that Resident Evil 4 did have, where it was just, hey, it's like one man on a mission kind of deal, like whole world.
Yeah, exactly.
When you have backup, like Sheva just being there the whole time, you never really feel like you're in danger.
Well, you do when Sheva uses all your fucking ammo up, but that's another story.
You only ever give Sheva a pistol.
That's when it becomes survival horror, because Sheva uses up all your ammo.
Yeah, no, don't give Sheva good stuff. You gotta keep it away from her.
But yeah, I would agree that RE4 it's a horror, or it's an action game with horror elements, and RE5 is just straight up an action game. I still like it anyway.
I would agree with that. It's an action game with a horror. It's a horror movie the same way the Paul W.S. Anderson Resident Evil films are horror movies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
exactly. See, and I'll have to admit,
zombies in them, but also
I do like the Resident. I do like the majority of the Resident Evil movies, just because, and I know that's not Resident Evil. So no, I do get that.
4 than it is the Resident Evil that you're saying you don't like 4 because of, though.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, but
the action movies more so.
I don't judge cinema on the same scale as I judge gaming, right? Because when it comes to gaming, they're the ones who actually wrote it. They're the ones who create it, and then they try to copy it in the movies, and it's never going to be the same. So I think that's where I don't give them leeways, because they purposely changed it.
I mean, like, at the same time, I think every so often it can be better. Like, I think the story of League of Legends and Arcane is better than anything I've seen presented in League of Legends, as far as like a narrative that actually has interesting characters and a story that you can follow. But I mean, I don't know. I think like adaptations I think it is not 100% that every single video game adaptation will be bad. And I think that Hollywood is starting to see that. And I think it's why they're going to start putting a lot more effort into video game adaptations, because they realized that when they started taking comic book adaptations seriously, they made money, and Hollywood might need to make money now, because I don't think they've got a lot of it. So they're
just a little bit
for new ways that they can grab noticeable existing intellectual property just for marketing purposes. And then the important part of the piece of the puzzle that they're slipping on in the comic book movies is then make a good movie based on that stuff. Because if you do those two things, every fan is pretty happy. Even the casuals that don't really know anything about this. I mean, like I am with League of Legends. Like I played League of Legends probably a total of 12 hours in my entire life prior to seeing Arcane. And for League of Legends time, that's not a lot. That's like, this is the kind of game that people thousands of hours into. So like I very casually played with a couple of my buddies in the army because they all had their laptops. They play League. And
because they're coming out. Oh, sorry, Mark.
I was just gonna say, but Arcane is like a story based in that world that is very digestible, very well written, and is very high quality. So it's like, yeah, adapt that story into that because they're totally different things. And
Did they do a Netflix thing for Arcane?
Yeah. Netflix is what did Arcane.
Yeah.
Netflix subscription, I think it was one of the best subscriptions I've had this year for streaming. In fact, I think far and away, I've used my Netflix more than anything else and enjoyed more of the original content on Netflix than anywhere else this year. But Rebel Moon is not part of my... Like, that's what I mean. Like, I don't feel like I paid for Rebel Moon because, like, no, I'm paying for all the other stuff that's on Netflix. I'm paying for Blue Eye Samurai. I'm paying for The Killer. I'm paying for the One Piece live action that managed to be incredible somehow. Like, it's I just rate Netflix kind of differently than any one movie or equally Plus and stuff. So Disney Plus, honestly, the only reason I would have it at this point is for Andor season 2, whenever that happens, which is like 2025. Other than that, I think all of the stuff on Disney Plus is kind of bad.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Well, no, because Arcane season 1 on Netflix was so well received. There's a season 2 on the way. So I found that
for a while though. But Arcane was 2 years ago now, so it's the season.
Was it 2 years
long ago?
It's been taking a while.
Long ago.
2020, I think, or 2021. Yeah,
2021.
Yeah.
Wow. Does not seem that long
Yeah,
ago.
I still haven't watched it. It's been recommended that I watch it, but no, I have a friend who we do a show on. We do a panel show on Friday nights, and he said that he's excited because there's a season 2 coming, and he's like, and I'm like, he's pretty critical when stuff's bad. So I know
it has the seal of approval from all the EFAP guys and critical drinker as well.
Yeah, that's how I heard about it initially.
Yeah, I would strongly recommend. Watch it in blocks of 3 episodes.
Oh, I remember you saying that a while back.
Watch 3 episodes 1, 2, and 3, then 4, 5, and 6, then 7, 8, and 9. It's kind of just like a trilogy of movies, and it's a good one too. So it's like, wow, that's pretty.
I got Monday off. I might do that.
Yeah,
I don't have to work Monday, so
nice. So, all right. Well, continuing on with question 2, because I think so far we got off on a tangent about Resident Evil because of DJ's proudest achievement in Resident Evil. Mark, do you have any particular achievement that you're very proud of?
Probably just getting the last Steam achievement in Sekiro, because that being a game that people were like flipping out about being impossible, and I was like, well, I got all the achievements, so it's not that impossible, I guess.
Nice.
Yeah, that's in the backlog that I'm looking forward to playing. Ryan, do you even play anything that has achievements in it?
Yeah. Dude, every game has a freaking achievements in it now. So no, first off, I'm not a massive fan of game where you have to grind for achievements. That I would rather rake my face against hot coals. I don't know how you guys do it.
I mean, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, that's all that game is.
Yeah. Ironically, never played that either, and I know that was big. I think I was playing GoldenEye at the time. It came out.
Ryan, seriously, put Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 on your Steam wishlist. They're fun.
Wait, are they actually on Steam?
Yeah, well,
I didn't know that.
Tony Hawk's 1 and 2 is one game. It's done by Vicarious Visions, who it was their last game before they went over to Blizzard. But it's a very good port. They're the same people who did the Crash Insane trilogy.
Yep.
And all the original music. So if you want to stream it, I recommend oh crap, I forget the name of it. It's at the beginning of the video that I made on Tony Hawk and Rollerdrome. But I went to a royalty-free ska music YouTube channel because I realized, like, shit, I can't stream Tony Hawk because it's all the music is licensed music. Like,
is it?
Music. Yeah. They're great soundtracks, particularly Tony Hawk 1 and 2, which is the soundtracks that are in this game. And I was like, man, it is weird to play it with any royalty-free music, although the stuff I used was doing the trick. But it's
just don't play it on stream.
Yeah, like that's the thing. You got to play it offline. It's great to play on a Steam Deck, and yeah, fantastic to just kick back and listen to a podcast and play.
I'm that stubborn guy that I'll always stream it, and then I'll just clap back when they go for the copyright. I have a pre-written thing that it's like,
Yeah,
It works most of the time. Sometimes it doesn't. I just
Tony Hawk, I think the only way you might be safe is because there's so many different bands on the soundtrack. If multiple record labels claim you, they might not honor any of the claims.
Yeah, I mean because I got hit for what game was it in my library? It's I think it's called Hell. Yeah, Hell Let Loose.
I've heard
I
of
got
that game.
copyright. Yeah, it's an
That is
awesome game
copyrighted? Yeah, that's good. It's a World War One shooter, right?
because the main screen has copyrighted music on it. So when you're in the main title screen, it has copyrighted music, and I got hit for that. And I actually I pushed back, and they're like, "Nope, not valid." And then of course, like if you don't take it down, like we'll give you a strike. And I was like, "All right." So I rescinded my appeal, and I'm like, I'm like, no monetization, eat my ass.
Yeah,
I mean,
I've got.
you know that when if you demonetize a video, if there's copyright material in it, they just put ads on it anyways, right?
I do now. I don't think that was that until recently. Now they do that because what, that new update with YouTube?
No, I think that's been going on for quite some time, but
It's more of a recent thing, but yeah.
Or being
we say recent, but I think like within the last like 6-7 months. So it's only been within like 2023. But before that, no, like a demonetized channel, they wouldn't have any ads at all. So no, but now YouTube I think is desperate for the revenue, and so they're monetizing everything. Even channels that like don't actually have or shouldn't have ads, I still get ads on YouTube.
Yeah,
Same
they
here.
do
Before
that
the
on
video plays.
my music actually.
I was just gonna say I got ads on DJ's music before he was monetized. Assuming you are monetized.
No, not yet, but I've seen people try to play my music, and sometimes there's ads, and it's like, no, we're not having that.
I've gotten ads on plenty of your music videos. I'm like, what? He's not monetized yet. But not that I'm monetized, but I have gotten hit on basically every one of my Republic Commando streams because of the Star Wars music.
Yep.
Yeah. No, we get tagged every week for Star Trek Engage because we're reviewing Star Trek, and Paramount is they're real sticklers about it.
Actually,
Go ahead, dude.
Republic Commando, you might be okay with any of the original music that's in it, like that was written for Republic Commando, because that's the music I use in the background for my video on that game, and it didn't get hit. But all the other Star Wars videos I made, I put usually like classical music behind it, like Mars by Holtz or something.
Okay. Oh, and I just noticed Fallen Angel's here. What's up, Fallen Angel? Oh, thank you. We can begin the show now.
Well, did you say hi to Christian Fandom Geek?
I did earlier, yes.
Oh, okay, my bad, dude. I didn't know if you saw that.
But I don't think you've answered the question yet. I know you said you weren't big fans on grinding, but are there any achievements that you've gotten that you're proud of?
Oh yeah, sorry, dude. Yeah, wow. Because we we started talking about something, we get off on a tangent. And yeah, so I can actually remember one of the things where I've actually probably, and this is gonna sound stupid as fuck, right? Because I would say playing Halo 2 with my friends and stuff like that, because you'll get achievements for like all the things that you do, like playing multiplayer and killing each other.
In the Master Chief Collection, I'm assuming.
No, in the original.
The original didn't have achievements. It was on original Xbox, which didn't have achievements. They did release Halo 2 on Windows, which did have achievements.
So I have beat Halo 2 on a 360.
Which one is it then?
The original Xbox version. So I do not have a Halo 2 Legendary Edition achievement, but damn it, I earned it. Trust me, those fucking those vulture snipers.
Yeah. I'd about to say, I have a language problem too. It seems to be the military guys that have language issues. Have a
PG-13 show, you really can't invite military people.
You really
that's
can't.
why I just asked. Try to do your best. But the legendary sniper level, those jackals will kill you in one hit.
Yeah, and they're so hard to see. I found actually, though, if you get into the area with the Warthog, just get in the Warthog and move as fast as you possibly can, and they can't hit you. You just gotta run them over.
Was it 3 then that had achievements?
Yes, 3 was the first Halo that had
Then it was 3. Okay, and the only reason I say this is for corny reasons. I wasn't a massive Xbox gamer, so but like all my friends were like psychotically good at Halo. And so like those are some of my favorite things, is like when I would like go on like a killing spree or you get like a headshot or something like that, because I was so mediocre compared to these guys, and it would piss them off, and it was so funny. And I remember doing that. Like I got back when I got out of the military, I was like 21. I came home, and my buddies and I would get together. We would do these death matches, and it was just hysterical. because I was so bad. But the thing is, like when I would get them, I'd get them, and they'd be pissed. And so no, I know it's a little lame, but no, like, everything has achievements now, so it's like I feel like it kind of cheapens it a little bit, in my opinion. Because like you'll just you'll play a random like RPG, and you're like, oh, you've unlocked this achievement for completing this part of the story, and I'm like, really? That's an achievement? Like I got to this checkpoint.
Yeah,
That's the
a lot of achievements are gimmies, but I think though that if you really get into a game and you want to spend more time with it, having a list of, hey, do these things and we'll give you a little trophy that you can
yeah.
put on your digital shelf. It's not a big incentive, but it's something. And sometimes you just want a reason to spend more time with a game that you're really enjoying. It's kind of why I disagree with like Nerdy Neo's concept of achievements of just getting them to get them, because I'm like, no, man, you should only get all the achievements in a game that you love and want to spend all that time in. If you just kind of half enjoy a game, like, don't get all the achievements just because you think you need to. Like, it's
I think
pointless.
he has slight OCD or something.
I
I would never do that.
do.
I'd be like, nope, I'm out.
I'm working on that. I'm not being very
certainly have
successful though.
autism. That's why I have such an angry puppy.
And yeah, Spartacus, I agree. I miss Destiny. That was fun. And I haven't played Destiny 2 though, so I don't know how it's changed. But I did play a lot of Destiny.
Gator.
So,
Kind of like an alligator. You gotta keep
being an achievement hunter and a completionist, I have quite the selection to choose from. But just a couple I wanted to mention. One that I've brought up on a number of streams is a Bladder of Steel achievement in Rock Band 2 for completing the entire set list without pausing or failing. That one took a couple of attempts, and that was that was one I was like, yes, finally I've got that one. So I've got
because I'm actually worried about urine management in that that achievement. Like, I think it might be named correctly if that's the case.
It is, because it's about a 6.5 hour achievement. And it took me a few attempts because I think one of them my controller accidentally got unplugged, and so it paused the game, and so that voided the achievement. Another one I did fail, but it's always in the same order. And there's one song that's like 75% of the way through the set list where it has a really long outro. So the notes actually stop, but the song doesn't end for like another 30 seconds. And then the very next song has a really long intro with no notes. So I was able to go take a quick piss real fast and finish it off.
See, I mean, that might be an amputee win for me, because I have a little like urinal that I keep beside my bed. Because for me, if I have to get up at the night and pee, it could be a real problem, because I not only have to get my leg on, I have to put this liner on to make sure it's fitted properly, and make sure the sock that goes over the liner isn't poking out onto the spike, because then the whole thing gets jammed and I literally get stuck in my own leg. So it's just easier to have a bottle there that I can pee in and then wash in the morning. Yeah, it makes me a little bit of a cripple, but you know what? I'm crippled, so you can give me a pass.
Yeah, no, I mean,
but yeah, so I'd be like, okay, I'm using my urinal for this one. Like, that's how I'm going to do this achievement.
Yeah, dude, I've had jobs where, like, you know, you'll be out in the middle of nowhere and you don't necessarily have access to a bathroom, and it's like, if there are people around, you know, sometimes you go use a Gatorade bottle and then you dump it out 2 minutes later, right? Or you just you pull up a tree because nobody's around. It's like, so yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I've visited many the side of a tree.
Yeah. No, even my current job, like I'll be out in the middle of nowhere sometimes on these county roads, and I'll be like, oh no, God, pee. Just pull the truck over and pee, then get back in.
That's the way to do it.
That was one of
nobody sees you whip your dick out, so that's all that matters.
Yeah, couple. Don't let like or bystander children see your dong.
Yeah.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
Even if you don't care, like, understand that there's other people who might really care.
Yeah, make sure there's no people around. Yeah, no, it especially moving back to Colorado. Now, where I live in Colorado is not bad, but like if you go to Denver, it's like San Francisco, dude. I'm sure there's people whipping their penises out everywhere.
Yeah.
Very possibly.
So, and Fallen Angels brought up something. So, Stanley Parable. I think it's different on the PC version, but there is an achievement for not playing the game for 5 years. The Xbox version, the achievement is for 10 years. I have the Stanley Parable. I have not played it yet, though.
Why does that sound familiar?
I mean, I guess I should just fire it up.
It's a very tongue-in-cheek game. You can change the clock on your console or whatever to cheat the achievement. And they actually have a message in game because they know the game hasn't even been out long enough to get the achievement. So they know if you've got it, you got it illegitimately.
you hacked it,
So they roast you for it. But this is a very meta game.
Oh, I
so
know
it's
why.
all about like meta jokes and stuff like that.
I've seen
Oh.
a YouTuber that
I'm
that I
talking about
started.
the Ultra Deluxe. That's why. Thank you, Fallen Angel.
I wonder. I think I
Yeah.
have Stanley Parable. I haven't played it yet, though. But it's making me think I should just fire
I
it.
haven't.
Like, do you have to like actually beat it, or do you
No,
have to
you just have to like
and then
start the game and then not play the game again for 5 or 10 years, and then next time you boot it up, it'll unlock the achievement.
Yeah, no, I haven't played it, but I've seen somebody who's played it. Because that's kind of how I started my YouTube journey, is like, you know, Googling stuff for like Fallout 4. And then I like found like one YouTuber, and then of course, you know, found all these other YouTubers. And but anyway, yeah, no, the Stanley Parable is like you follow these yellow lines around, and it's like I mean, it's kind of tongue in cheek, but at the same
It's
time,
very
it's
tongue in
like,
cheek, and it's got
yeah,
this narrator that's kind of telling you what to do, but like the idea
yeah,
is to do everything opposite of what they do just to
yeah.
see what they say. So,
Yeah, it actually is pretty entertaining. It's a really short game though, right? It's only like,
there's like I think it's got like a dozen different endings because there's so many different ways
well,
to
I
do
mean,
it.
I don't think it's a very long game at all. I think said streamer beat it in like 2 streams or something like that. Like it wasn't
Yeah.
even that long at all.
It's not a terribly long game, but there's just so many different ways you can play it. But
Yeah.
But another couple of achievements that I'm proud of is that I did get the 100% in Project Gotham Racing 3, which there's 2 mainly achievements that are very I'm proud of on that. One is the Platinum Champion for getting all the Platinum medals, which I didn't think I was ever going to be able to do, but I was able to pull that off, and that was pretty awesome. And then the Tournament Champion achievement was really cool. And I know I've talked about this on, I think it was Open Mic before, but the Tournament Champion is actually you against other people, not just the AI. Because how it worked was every week there was a set track with a set car, and like the top 64 people in the world every week qualified for the tournament. And so it was like an ongoing thing, and every week there'd be a new track. And I was able to, it took me a while, but after a while I was finally able to qualify for one of those tournaments where I was in that top 64 places at the cutoff time. So that one was pretty awesome. And then 2 other quick ones is getting the 100% in Mirror's Edge, because you have to get all 90 stars in the time trials, and those are very difficult.
Damn.
And then most recently, going back to retro achievements, at the beginning of the month, I was working on Mega Man X, and in the retro achievements, there's an achievement for beating each of the bosses without taking damage, or each of the 8 Mavericks. And most of them are pretty easy. There's one boss that's very difficult because he's just throwing so many attacks at you, and it's Launch Octopus.
Yep.
I was finally able to get the achievement for beating him without damage, but it took me nearly 100 attempts. Took a long time, and that was very I was very happy when I finally pulled that off. I was like, yeah, I'm on top of the world. So that was a recent achievement that I was very proud of.
Real quick, Sparta Chris says, "Hey Mark, how is X-Ray Girls Therapy going after playing Until Dawn?"
I mean, I don't know. She's doing okay. She did start up Dead Space remake though, so
yeah, she mentioned that at the end of FNT yesterday. So
I have to admit that sometimes it's more entertaining watching like girls play scary games than it actually is guys.
The hell out.
Yeah.
Now there is one exception. Fucking Ryan, when I don't remember what are they playing?
Phasmophobia.
Phasmophobia.
When Mark scared the bejesus out of him.
Yeah, when Mark, you scared the shit. That was the funniest thing I've ever seen to this
I love
date.
that clip.
What's funny is when X-Ray Girl and I are streaming Red Dead, you can, or actually even when I'm streaming Ready or Not, technically, we have this thing called blurp alerts that you can go to.
I noticed
plays
that.
a really loud sound in our ears, and the Ryan "Oh my God" is one of the sounds you can play. Ryan's reaction to me scaring him like 4 years ago is now haunting me, actually, because it's just like I'm playing Red Dead Redemption, not even playing, just watching, just in the middle of a nice cinematic, then all I hear is "Oh my God, oh my God." I'm just like, oh God, no.
It just reminds me about being back in the military. So like my barracks, my barracks roommate, right? We ended up watching the movie The Grudge, like so it's like kind of like the Japanese, the American offshoot of the Japanese movie.
Sarah Michelle Gellar one.
Yeah, Sarah Michelle Gellar. Well, anyway, obviously an iconic thing from that movie is I screwed with my roommate so bad. We watched that movie. He was dead asleep. And I recorded me making that noise, and I turned it up on my phone, and I played it from outside his bed's by the door, right? So I'm on the other side of the door, and I'm on the ground on, like, all fours, and I play it, like, on the other side of the nightstand. It's like, he sits up in bed with both hands, grabs it, and goes, and it was hysterical, and it just reminds me of that. I don't know. I think that's still probably one of the best moments in gaming. That dude.
That's funny.
That was hysterical.
It was all because I knew they wouldn't understand the sound that happens when I enter Discord. I'm like, I think I can get back in this call without them noticing.
Yeah. Yeah, it was so funny.
That's great. GJ, I know you're in Retro Achievements and you're a big fan of Mega Man. Have you done any of those Mega Man X or Retro Achievements yet?
Actually, I have. Hang on, let me pull up my Retro Achievements profile. Excuse me while I whip this out.
I do have a question real quick. Does anybody play StarCraft on Battle.net?
Not anytime recently.
Yeah, no, my old computer it worked fine, but now this new computer for some reason it's giving me an error. It won't actually play the game, which is
I
weird.
played StarCraft. Yeah, the original or StarCraft 2?
No, the original StarCraft. That's my jam right there. StarCraft 2 is really good, but the original is just without question. So no, it keeps giving me an error. I haven't tried The originals are better. Yeah.
I played a little bit of StarCraft back in the day. I think I made it through because you play them in order, right? You play the Terran campaign, then the Protoss, then the Zerg.
Yeah. Terran, then Terran, Zerg, then Protoss. Yeah.
I think I made it through the Terran campaign. And I fell out of it somewhere in the Protoss campaign.
I always preferred to be human because I didn't like the Protoss. Like their carriers obviously were awesome, right? Because they had the swarm for the fighters. But for me, just the wraiths and the battle cruisers for the Terran. The battle cruisers were wicked awesome. Just like, because if you got the what's the cannon called? It's the Yamato cannon, like going just like whoosh, and it just would just nuke something. It was so awesome. I don't know. Maybe I should try to install StarCraft 2 and see if there's a problem with that one too.
Sorry,
it's a new computer. It's got I'm assuming maybe it's maybe system operating, because Windows 11, it's a new Intel whatever processor, and it's an RTX. So anyway, I don't know.
So
We'll see.
and Fallen Angels here got some little bit of background lore here. He's not DJ Axis. He's secretly Todd Howard who wants to sell you Skyrim. Don't believe his sweet little eyes.
Oh God, no!
That's some
Damn
DJ
it,
Axis
Todd!
lore.
Did you tie the game logic to the frame rate, Todd? Did you tie the game logic to the frame rate? Todd,
always. It's not a bug. That's a feature of the creation engine. Okay, 16 times the detail.
That's almost as bad as like what? You guys don't have cell phones?
Yeah, exactly.
Are you shitting me with this?
So, did you find it on your Retro Achievements?
Yeah, I have 34 of 57 achievements for Mega Man X1, and I've done I think I've done every one of the Buster only, like the X Buster only achievements for the bosses.
Yeah.
There are a couple that I have left. I know I haven't done Launch Octopus No Damage.
That one was tough.
Yeah.
But...
Actually, I think that might be the second achievement set, because remember there's like a more difficult achievement set that you can open up on Mega Man X, and I think that's where those ones are.
No, there is an achievement for each one for beating them without taking damage, because I haven't done those subsets.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't done that one yet, but I have done a lot of the other ones where it's like, going to certain areas with like before having the boss weapon and getting like, the parts and stuff. So it's not I haven't 100%ed it, but it's still a fun game. I've gotten most of the achievements at least.
The game's not over until you can fire a Hadouken.
Oh yeah, I
There's
do
a number
have
of
an
achievements for that.
Yeah,
retro achievements. So I've got 50 out of 57. The only ones I still don't have, and I don't know if I'm going to go for them. It's basically like all the ones that beat in the game.
Can you get the no damage launching octopus achievement with the fireball?
No, that's one of the things is that no
That's the
Hadouken.
easy way to do it. Like,
Yeah.
every boss.
Yeah,
I just have to say
no
real
Hadouken.
quick, I hope that Paul is still in the chat, considering his name is Paul Hadouken.
Yes.
Also, Spartacus says, I hear Wraiths and battle cruisers, and I think of Stargate Atlantis.
Oh yes.
I guess
Stargate
that
Atlantis was
lends credence to the fact that sci-fi borrows or steals from each other. Because
Strong
yeah, the original
inspiration.
StarCraft came out well before the actual
Stargate
Stargate
Atlantis.
movie. Yeah, no, and I thought I love Stargate, the original movie. The show was fine.
I love Stargate.
But
SC1 and Atlantis.
Samuel, dude, Samuel is like all about it. Like he thinks that's the best show in the history of the world.
The infamous. Nice.
Yeah.
All right, I
So-
got the quit the game, then started again achievement in Stanley Parable.
Did
Did
you
you get that one?
No, seriously, I did just now.
wait?
Nice.
Did you do the wait? So the 5-year one, right?
Honestly, no, the game crashed when I was opening it. Like, so I was starting the game, it crashed, but then I tried it again and it gave me achievement for coming back. Welcome back is the achievement. It says quit the game and start it again. 77.
Oh, okay. Not the 5
achievement, which means 33% don't. That they never
Never booted up a second time.
or if it crashed it, they didn't just try to play it again. I get
So.
short amount of time between an exit and an entrance is probably how this achievement's tracked.
Yeah, relaunching the game. So, I know we are already 15 minutes over our usual time. Do you guys need to bounce out of here, or you got time for
No, I'm
another?
good.
I have got some Red Dead Redemption to play with the wife, so I do need to get going this time.
All right.
Yeah, they
I'm
actually
glad
make
you're able
money
to make
doing
it,
that.
Mark.
So dude's got to go
I'm
make
glad
money.
to have you here.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes. I guess if people want to blurp us with Ryan screaming in my ear, which actually does legitimately scare me, sometimes the puppies.
Hey, Rocky.
Oh, not the puppies.
He's such a good boy. This is the one that you never hear growling.
Yeah, he's quiet.
He's a
Jojo,
good-
the jealous one.
I did show off his dong, though, when we were talking about you never know when you'll see a dong.
I got to be honest. It's a very nice piece.
I mean, he's an incredible boy. He doesn't have balls. Though.
I'm sorry. I don't know why people invite me on their shows knowing that this is how I act.
You're out of here.
Ryan, I think you've spent too much time around Dermy. It's rubbing
I'm the
off
one
on
who
you.
brought up the puppy. But, I mean, hey, he's a virile young boy. Just he has no balls. His roommate is a lady dog who might die if she bears children because she's tiny.
Yeah. Well,
So
also she would she'd probably try to eat anybody who tried to mount her.
Nah, I think he could overpower her for sure. I mean, look at him. He's a tank.
No free tank.
Uh,
All right. Well, thanks for joining us for another party chat, Mark. You have fun time with Red Dead, and you have a happy New Year, and we will see you
All right.
in the New Year.
all right. See you, man.
Anything else you want to plug before you bounce?
Busy, but take it easy, guys.
Later, Mark.
See you, man.
See you, Mark.
Oh, I think we'll go one more question here that I really want to get to, and I have to give proper credit to
There
this
was
next
two.
question
Now it's my
because
show.
this was I did not come up with this question. This is from my good buddies over at the Achievement Hunting 101 podcast that I'm really connected with. They do an achievement a podcast every week, and they'll put out a question for the patrons. The patrons get to answer, and they read the patron answers on the podcast each week. And this is from a couple weeks ago, but I'm like, ooh, that's an excellent question. I'm gonna steal that for party chat. So shout out to my AH101 buddies. You might have seen some of them on one of my 12 Days of Christmas stream. Rocker Dude he's been on open mic before, and he was in one of my streams the other night. But this one is, what game would you recommend to a new gamer? Not necessarily a new gamer, but what game would you recommend to get someone into your favorite genre? So I thought that was an excellent question. I had to hijack it, but I
That
did
is a great
want to give
question.
them proper credit that I did not come up with that question. So I will go first unless you guys have an answer prepared.
No, go ahead, dude.
I have a prepared answer, but I have a feeling I'm going to completely steal your thunder because it's one of your favorite genres.
Do it.
No,
Go,
go for it. You're the guest.
guest.
You have
Okay.
all rights to just derail me if that's what's gonna happen.
Okay, so this one's for Metroidvanias. I'm sorry, Neo.
Nope.
But I have
I knew that was going to be yours as well.
yeah, I have kind of like a Mount Rushmore of entry level Metroidvanias. I think they're not like I wouldn't say any of these are particularly the best Metroidvanias, but I think they're the most comfortable for new players. And the first
Perfect.
one is a toss up between Metroid Zero Mission or Metroid Fusion on the GBA. Neither one are really
Excellent choice.
complicated. They're not very difficult. Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Again, not
Between
a terrible.
between the Metroid Fusion and Metroid Zero Mission, I would probably say Fusion, given that it's a
Yeah,
little more structured.
I was thinking Fusion because it's even a little bit. It's very handholdy with where it guides you. Like it tells you exactly where you need to go. So that one might be
Exactly.
my preferred
They're
one for
both
an
excellent
absolute new player.
games, but for like a new person to Metroidvanias, I would probably edge out Zero Mission with Fusion.
Yeah, I mean either one. So I guess it really depends if they want to start with like the definitive first Metroid game, then I
Right.
would
That's a
recommend
good
Zero
point.
Mission. But next would be Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Again, an absolute classic, probably one of the best, if not the best Metroidvania out there. Not too difficult. There's some super overpowered weapons that can make the game an absolute cakewalk. The other two are outliers, but I still think they're really good. Ori and the Will of the Wisps. I would say either Ori game, but of the two, I would definitely recommend Will of the Wisps over the Blind Forest because the combat is better, the exploration's better, there's better mobility tools. It's just a great game for people who've never played a Metroidvania, and they would love it. I think.
There you stole my thunder a little bit, but I'll
Yeah,
go into that in a few minutes.
and the last one, I think I told you about this one before, and you were like, I'd never heard of it. It's another game. I think it's by Nicholas, called Astalon: Tears of the Earth.
Oh, I
It's a
Aslan Tear is it Tears of the I have
Tears
the
of the
game on
Earth.
Xbox. I haven't played it yet though.
Yeah, and that's a 2D pixel art, like sprite
Oh,
based
Tears of the Earth. I was
Metroidvania.
thinking Oh, it's because I was thinking Tears of the Kingdom because of Zelda. But yeah,
Oh
Tears of the
yeah,
Earth.
yeah.
I've
And
heard a
again,
lot of
that
good
one.
things about it.
hmm And that's another one where it's like depending on what that person's into, maybe they like more of like the fantasy over sci-fi Metroidvania. And those would be the ones I would recommend to new players. Not necessarily the best Metroidvanias, but
Right.
definitely the most new player friendly.
Yes, agreed. Yeah. Yeah, so I have Aslan. I haven't played it yet because that's going to be once I recover my dive and I start a bunch of new games. Aslan is one of them. One of our buddies in the Achievement Hunting 101 community, he calls it Aslan Tears of Boredom because he found it so boring. But he's just like he's like the most hardcore of hardcore. So
Right.
he loves like the harder it is, the better for him. So he
Mhm,
found it very
mhm.
boring. But from everyone else, I've heard it's a really good game.
Yeah.
But yeah, since we're on the topic of Metroidvanias and that is my genre of expertise, I will piggyback off that before you go to Ryan's. Because yeah, so Metroidvania is my genre of choice as well. And as I often say, Will of the Wisp is my favorite Metroidvania of all time. Excellent, fantastic, phenomenal game. However,
Yep.
I actually say Blind Forest, Ori and the Blind Forest for the newcomer because I think Will of the Wisp is so fantastic, you'll kind of be let down a little bit when you go back to playing Blind Forest. So I say Blind Forest because it's still an excellent game, but there's a lot of things that they could have done better that they do better in Will of the Wisp so that you get an experience of a great Metroidvania. And then when you play Will of the Wisp, you're like, oh my God, this is even better. So, because that was initially the first thing I thought of when I heard this question is Will of the Wisp. And I'm like, wait a minute, I think I'd recommend Blind Forest before Will of the Wisp so that they still have something even better to look forward to.
Yeah.
I do like Symphony of the Night. I never actually even played it until the Xbox 360 version. So I don't have the nostalgia for it. It is a good game. But I will take Super Metroid over Symphony of the Night any day of the week because
Right.
9 times out of 10, I said I'll take sci-fi over fantasy.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
But it doesn't take away anything from the game. It is a great game. So if I was to put a Metroid game on my list, on the 2D side, I'd probably agree with you on probably Fusion or Zero Mission, depending on whether they wanted to start with sequentially the first or whether they wanted a little more guidance, because they're both great
Right.
games for a beginner. But Metroid Prime is also an excellent entry to the franchise. A good buddy of mine,
that's a
he's
good
been on a
point,
few
yeah.
times, Nerdporeal Lifeform. That was his entry into the Metroid franchise, was Metroid Prime as well, as me. And that's a
Yeah.
phenomenal game.
And not only that, but Prime would serve a double purpose. So if someone is already into like FPS games and they have
Yes.
never played a Metroidvania, you could recommend the Prime series, and that would be a really good entry point for them.
Excellent point. And then another one of my favorites that I brought up when Rocker Dude was on Open Mic a while back, but it doesn't get a lot of love. That it's basically like Super Metroid, more modernized. It's already like a 15-year-old game, but it's more modernized, and I love it. And it's a great entry to the franchise. Is Shadow Complex.
Oh, I love me some Shadow Complex. I should have mentioned that one too.
Great game. I really wish we would get a sequel, but I don't think we ever will.
Yeah, I'm disappointed at that because I didn't play that on the Xbox. Wasn't it Xbox Arcade or something?
It was
originally
one of the very first Summer of Arcade games.
Okay. Yeah, I never had an Xbox console myself, so I only played it when they did Shadow Complex remastered on PC. But
That's
I
actually one
absolutely
of
love
my
that game.
more proud completions as well, because that has some pretty difficult achievements in it.
It does, yeah.
It's got some very short time frame 100% achievements, so you have to get everything in under like I think it's got an achievement for get everything on any difficulty under 3 hours or under 2 hours, and then there's beat the game with 100% on Insanity, the hardest difficulty, in under 3 hours.
Yeah.
And so those were a bit tricky, but that was a fun completion. So those are a few of my recommendations to get a new player into the Metroidvania franchise. So Spartacus, before we jump into Ryan, says the original Battlefronts 1 and 2. Those are excellent games as well. So Ryan, what? Let's see here. I'm assuming that you're going to go with RPG.
Well, no, I was just gonna say, so Metroidvania, huh, guys? Yeah, fellow gamers.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are going off, and I'm like, I
like,
know
I haven't
Metroid,
played any of
but
these games.
I know Castlevania. I don't know what this crossover is you guys are talking about, or even if it is a crossover, I don't know if it's in the same world or something. I was so confused. I'm like, I know this one and I know this one, and I'm like, how the hell did they come together? I don't get it. Like,
that's how I was earlier today on Goes Nowhere Does Nothing. Charlie and Adam were quoting stuff. I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
If I have to, okay, so if I want to go for like, if I want to go for obviously a franchise that I just think is absolutely top notch, incredible. I will tell people that they should definitely play Fallout 76. No, I'm kidding. That's not even a thing. No, I would say I'd probably actually lean in and tell them to play probably Fallout New Vegas over Fallout 3, to be honest, if you want to get into the Fallout franchise. I think and I know that's and it's by that much of a margin because I think that Fallout 3 is incredible. But I think Fallout New Vegas is just a little bit better when it comes to.
I haven't played New Vegas, but from everyone that I've talked to and heard from online, they say that Vegas is even better than Fallout 3.
Yeah, I would agree. I would absolutely agree. So I think that's a great one to get into. I also think because they also kind of took the karma system out of it. I think the karma system in Fallout 3 is it sucks. Because if you steal something in Fallout 3, but even though you're not caught, you get negative karma.
Yep.
So it affects your gameplay. I don't like that. Because look, let's be honest here, right? Sometimes you just gotta steal stuff when you're starting out in the video game. It's just the way it is.
Beard's with you. Vegas is still one of his top favorites.
Yeah. No, I love New Vegas. Well, like even in Knights of the Old Republic, right? So I always I can't do nothing to be really mean to a lot of the NPCs, right? Some people are like, oh, well, whatever. And I can't be a bad guy. I don't know how to do it. But I will admit this. I did use Intimidate a couple, like if Force Persuade or something like that doesn't work, I've used Intimidate to when you get HK-47. Yeah, I think HK-47 is one of them. And then of course when you
Fallout.
Get no, it's not Fallout, but I'm using it as an example. T3M4, like you have to buy the droids. Well, you can either pay full price of like 5,000 credits, Or you can intimidate the shopkeeper and you can get it for about 2,000. It's like, well, what are you going to do? I'm going to intimidate the shopkeeper to get it for 2,000. I'm not going to hurt you, but no, dude, you're not getting a 300% markup. You can go eat a bag of rocks, right? So that's anyway, yeah, that's one of
Spartacus.
the
Yeah, it's hard being a
yeah.
bad guy. Like we talked about
Yeah,
it.
even if it's just pixels on a screen, it's like they have a voice actor and then stuff like that. And some people are like going, "Oh, I love being a bad guy." It's like I can't do it, just can't do it. But no, yeah, I think
We,
the
we,
karma system in Fallout 3 is it really that is probably the thing I hate the most about that game, and I love that game
yep.
because if I steal a thing of food, nobody's dead. Nobody saw me. And why am I getting negative karma for that? That's crap. So I would say probably New Vegas.
God saw you, but
And
yeah, we
and on top of that too, I think New Vegas has the best the best weapons. Shaka Zulu says that's kind of gay, right? Yeah, it is.
It's kinda
Oh, it's
gay.
super gay. I didn't say it wasn't.
Yeah, on I think it was on the Halloween episode when James was on. We talked. One of the topics we talked about was what's the most evil thing you've done in a game, and it was one of my answers was when I did my full Renegade playthrough of Mass Effect. Whew, it was very, very spoilers for Mass Effect 3 if you haven't played it. It was incredibly difficult to play the bad guy and kill some of your squad mates. That was tough. So yeah, most gamers I've seen polls and stuff of like how do you play a video game when you have a karma or a Paragon Renegade, some sort of morality system, and it's like 90% play good. So
Well, see,
yes,
and
Mass
I
Effect is
agree
the
with the math.
epitome of the karma
Yes,
system. But going
that
back to
actually kind
Fallout
of bugged
though,
me about Mass Effect 1 is that you have to be heavily weighted to one side to be able to save Rex, and I think that's crap
yeah.
because
Well,
you have to
there
you have
is
to
an
like have
alternate
like
way to save him if you have high enough karma or intimidate, or there's a specific quest you can go on that you have to find some like family Krogan armor. If you go on that, you can also save him without having enough charm or intimidate.
oh, I never heard of that third option. Well, guess what?
Yep.
Guess what we're gonna explore when I play the Legendary Edition
Yes.
on Steam.
Hey.
Awesome.
All right, back to what you were gonna say.
Going back to the Fallout thing, that was difficult too. When I did my evil playthrough of Fallout 3 and I nuked Megaton, that was tough. So it actually turned out really perfect though, because in Fallout 3, there's an achievement for beating the game with negative karma, beating the game with positive karma, and beating the game with neutral karma. And that the neutral karma is actually really difficult to get because you have to balance it like through the whole game. What I ended up doing, and it was just completely coincidental. I was expecting to play another playthrough doing neutral, where every time I did a good action, I had to do a bad action to balance it out. But I didn't have to do that because on my evil playthrough, I nuked Megaton, so I went super evil. But everything else I did in the game, I did good. And so I ended up literally at the end of the game, when you get that achievement, I was literally like right on the line between negative and neutral. So I did an evil thing, beat the game, got the evil achievement, reloaded my save, did a good thing, went over to neutral karma, beat the game again, and got the neutral achievement.
Yeah,
it was perfect.
Yeah, nuking Megaton and poisoning the water at Project Purity are the two most evil actions in the game. Like they reward the most evil karma.
Yeah, makes sense because you're dooming a lot of people to die. And let's see, Spartacus says that the only bad thing in Mass Effect was killed the assassin who killed one of your buddies. Oh, I'm assuming you're talking about in Mass Effect 3 in regards to Kai Lang and Thane. I'm assuming what you're talking about. Oh, the only bad thing I did in Mass Effect was you killed the assassin who killed one of your buddies. Gotcha. Okay. He killed one of your buddies. You're getting revenge. That's not necessarily a bad thing, even though it's probably going to give you bad karma for it because you're supposed to show compassion and stuff. But yeah, I know what you're talking about. And Beard says, when I play the evil side for an achievement, I have to approach it like a job, not as something I'm enjoying. Exactly. Same here.
Agreed.
Yeah, I can't even approach it that way. Now,
James,
look,
James and Ryan don't have that problem.
Yeah. Now I'm not saying that. Of course, you do some sketchy things in games, but yeah, I don't even think I ever. And I never actually detonated the bomb in Megaton. I actually watched a YouTube video where somebody did it because I didn't want to do it in my gameplay.
Yeah.
And I know that's like it's kind of gay, but
if you wanted to, you can always save coming. You can always save scum it, go do it, and then reload your last save to undo it.
Oh yeah, well, I mean,
It's a
even it's a
Bethesda
Bethesda
game.
game, so you have multiple saves. By the way, I would always have like go and save this one, and then save that one, and then it's like you go back and forth, right? You know, because like at some point the game's gonna crash. Like,
Mhm.
I mean, you may go 3 hours of the game not crashing, and then all of a sudden, 3 hours and 1 minute, and you're just like, what in the hell? Like, what? Yeah. So
Yeah, usually it's. I think it's less of an issue well, I guess it's probably about the same. But one thing is nice, at least in the Fallout and Elder Scrolls I played, is that anytime you like open a door and go through to a new area, auto saves. But if you're out exploring the wasteland for a long period of time and it crashes, you just lost all that progress.
Yeah.
Which I've had that
yep.
happen once or twice. So, and we got coming in here right at the end. We have CLS Studios. What's up, man? He's been hopping in a few of my streams lately. Good to see you. He said he's going to be lurking. But yeah, we're probably just about to wrap it up here.
I know there was one I did when I played Fallout 3. Who's the companion? Is it Fox?
Fox
Which
is
one?
the super
Yeah,
mutant
the super
companion.
mutant.
Yeah.
He's a thief.
You can tell Fox to go inside at the end, right, and get
You
irradiated.
couldn't do that originally. They had to patch
No, you
that
could.
in
Yeah, they patched it in. So
with the
like when I
Broken
first played
Steel DLC to change the ending, so you can
yeah, so when
keep
I first
playing.
played when I first played Fallout 3, I played it through the Game of the Year edition. Same with New Vegas. I got the Ultimate edition because I wanted everything, right? You know, I wanted all the DLCs, so I ended up waiting. But that's because I was late to the Fallout franchise. My roommate, one of my good buddies from the military, he played Fallout 3, the original, just standard game.
I
Then
played
he
it
played the
online
Game of the Year
too.
with the DLC. Well, he played the DLCs after that, you know, each individually buying them from you know, for the 360 and then doing the same thing with New Vegas. And I'd watch him like, what is this game you're playing? And it was awesome. And I was like, I gotta play this. So when it came out, I was like, oh, Game of the Year. Okay. It's got everything I need. I'll buy that. Yeah. So it's
Yeah, you don't have to.
I did throw Fox under the bus and that's
It's not
kind of
really
a
throwing
dick
him under
move.
the bus. He's immune to radiation, so that's what before
Well,
they patched that in with the Broken
he still
Steel
collapses
DLC.
though, right? He still
Yeah, it's too
collapses
much.
it.
It's so much it even kills him. So yeah,
Yeah.
Oh,
he
I don't
still.
remember that.
Yeah,
Yeah, it'll
yeah, it
still kill
kills him.
Fox.
So
Oh,
that's probably the worst thing that
that
I've
doesn't
done.
make any sense because super mutants are supposed to be immune to radiation, which is why before the Broken Steel DLC extended the game, everyone's like, "Why do I have to go and why can't he do it?
Yeah.
He's immune to radiation, and everyone survives."
Yeah, no, they made it to where even if you send him in there, he dies.
I mean,
I
they're
do not
they're
remember
not
that.
technically immune. They're resistant to radiation, but they're not completely immune to it.
Okay, gotcha. And Beard of Liberty says, "Saves coming in a Bethesda game is just a survival tactic."
It really is.
Yep.
You know, I have another one of those games too where I do the same thing that you two do, where like I don't like playing evil characters. And there's even one where I like refuse to get 2 achievements in a game because it forces you to play evil, and that would be Metal Gear Solid 5. So to get the last 2, I would think one of them is just an S rank and stuff, so I just need to go back and do that. But there's one achievement that I'll never do, and that's where you have to assemble a nuclear weapon on your home base. I refuse to do it. Because like that's basically like the ultimate evil thing you can do in the game.
Oh, is Metal Gear Solid 5 the one where there's the achievement for like if everyone in the world disbands their nuclear weapons and it'll like never happen?
That's
Yeah.
a rumor. Yeah, like people still think that if every player like in the game gets rid of all of the nukes, that there's some secret ending that's going to get unlocked. But it's still just a rumor at this point.
Okay, I remember hearing something about that. That's a cool concept, but that'll never happen.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was a fun party chat as always. And
Yeah, it
fun
was.
way
That was a good one,
to
man.
end off the year. So at this point, I don't know if party chat will continue due to my job change that Ryan, I know we were talking about behind the scenes last time. So
Yep.
I'm hoping I'll be able to continue it because the reason why is the potential travel I'll be having will most likely be on weekends. So I don't know if I'll be able to continue it. So, but we shall see because I don't really know exactly what the extent of the travel is at this point. So I'll have to keep everyone posted. But as long as I can keep doing it, I will. I just can't guarantee it at this point. So if this does happen to be the last party chat, I don't think it'll be forever. If it does, I'll probably resume it at some point. But if it for some reason ends up being the last party chat, I have had a blast the last 6 months doing YouTube and meeting all you guys and making so many new friends. You guys have been great. This year kind of sucked for me, personal, behind the scenes stuff. So you guys have all made this year so much more fun and enjoyable. So I appreciate all of you guys, even everybody who's not here in the chat today. All the friends I've made on Discord and through all the different communities I've gotten plugged in with. I just want to say thank you to you guys for becoming new best friends of mine over the internet. And now I know you can say gay, but I just wanted to let you guys know that
I wasn't gonna say gay, but all right.
So,
wow,
but yeah, with
dude.
that, I don't have anything else scheduled for my channel upcoming, but I will be putting it out there when I do. But what do you guys got coming up in the future? Ryan, I know you've always got stuff going on the weekends. You got more Screaming Into the Void today?
Yeah, we're gonna be doing Screaming Into the Void in an hour and 15 minutes at 4 p.m. Well, probably about 4:05. So, but yeah, Screaming Into the Void. I'll be simulcasting to my channel, Legion Talk, and of course, Samuel the Infamous's channel. He's the one running it. It's his show. Then tonight, I will try to be on Vets Talking. Had a decently busy week. I was on call today, so I'm working off of probably like 5 hours of sleep. I got up at 6:30. I'll try to make Vets Talking. So Vets Talking tonight, and then of course, drop the G and you'll find it. And then of course, tomorrow, Star Trek Engage. We are resuming Star Trek Engage. Not everybody will be there because obviously it's a holiday, but those of us that can be there will be there. We'll be doing season 1, episode number 21. I don't know the title of the episode just yet because I haven't looked. And then of course on Monday, Game of Thrones. We're going to be we're cruising towards the end of season 6. So I think we're on like episode 8. So we only have like a couple episodes left to season 6. And then we're starting to really get into the dumpster fire that ended a Game of Thrones. So yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Cool. And TJ, as always, awesome hanging out with you. You've been fun getting to hang out with one of the very first people on my channel, him and Gino, when I did
that's right,
our Mega Man discussion stream. So that was fun getting to hang out with you. So what do you got going on? You got Mega Man Monday on Monday?
I'm thinking I do want to do Mega Man Monday, and since I mentioned X1, I know you and Gina are going to be like, hell yeah. So I'm thinking it's probably going to be Mega Man X1 for sure, because like I can't really think of anything else I want to do on Monday besides that. But apart from streaming, there's always like music going up on my channel, and I can't think of any like guest appearances I'll be doing. So I usually try to plug those two, but I can't really think of any offhand. My apologies to anyone if like they have be scheduled and I completely forgot about it. I just can't think of anything. So that's pretty much all I got going on for me.
Okay. Yeah, right at the end here, got buddy Abe, who's another fellow. I don't know if he's a mod, but I know I see him on in Mark's chats all the time. What's up, Abe? Good. Welcome. Even though we are wrapping up here. What's up, Ryan?
Also, shout out to the chat. You guys are the real reason. Like, you guys are the best. You kill it. Like, you make the memes. You guys are the ones that are funny. And so, yeah, it's always a shout out to you guys.
Absolutely.
Everyone that's in chat, you guys are awesome. Thanks for hanging out with me and listening to us ramble about games. And Beard is saying, best to everyone. May your 2024s be at least less awful than 2023. It's all we can ask for, right? Yep.
Yes.
And exactly what I was talking about earlier. Hey, let's do the bright side. Because it can always be
I was waiting for you to acknowledge that.
Freaking bliss. So yeah, we're just wrapping up here, but go check out the replay. It was a great discussion. And I am gonna go find that video that Mark was talking about. Do you remember what that was? I'm gonna go look for that, and I'm gonna put that in the stream notes about that other.
I don't remember the name.
I'll go back and listen to it, and I'll find it.
But, yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah. So, all right. With that, that'll wrap it up for 2023. It's been a fun little bit over 6 months. Hopefully, I will continue to see you guys in the new year. And in the meantime, everyone, have a safe and happy new year. Don't do anything dangerous. And we will see you next time. And in the meantime, game on.
See ya.